Subscribe to my sister's channel. She will also voice her favorite plots. Let's give her a big asset. Dawn is beginning to break on the streets of Konoha. It's October 10th. This is a day of mourning for everyone, because 6 years ago a nine-tailed fox demon attacked the village. The fourth Hokage sealed the fox in his own son, while giving his life. The boy grew up, and now he turned 6 years old. Sky blue eyes, blonde and disheveled hair, stripes on the cheeks. This boy was easy to recognize. He was born on that very day, when the demon killed a lot of people. For this, the villagers hated and despised the boy. Although somewhere in the depths of their hearts they understood that he was not to blame, but that what was sitting deep in him was to blame. Naruto has no friends. Children were strictly forbidden to approach him. The boy has long been used to this. He did not leave the house on his birthday, because he knew how it could end. But having overcome his fear, he still left the house and decided to take a walk, having previously thrown on a cloak and mask so that he would not be noticed, otherwise he would be beaten. The boy decided to look into Ichiraku Ramen. He loved this place because its owner is one of the few who did not despise him. After having lunch there, he noticed that the sun was already setting. He hurried home, when suddenly someone started shouting at him, "Hey!" Naruto the drunk called out, "Go home, otherwise the demon will eat you." The man approached Naruto and turned him sharply. Unfortunately for the boy, his mask has fallen and his identity is revealed. "So it's you. The demon. The creature." "Yes, I'm you," the man yelled and began to beat the blonde. Suddenly Naruto stopped feeling pain. It looks like they stopped beating him. But why? I was still afraid to open my blue Jinchuriki eyes. "Hey, boy, don't be afraid to get up." Naruto opened his eyes. A man was standing in front of him, holding out his hand to the boy. The drunkard who had beaten the poor boy was lying unconscious next to him. "Don't be afraid. My name is Itachi." "And you?" Shinobi asked. "Naruto Uzumaki." "Nice to meet you." The blonde answered timidly, "You're bleeding, let me take you to my house and bind up the wound." "Don't. It will heal itself soon." And yet. Took the boy's hand, Itachi led him to the Uchiha estate. After bandaging the wound, Itachi laid the blonde on the sofa. The next morning Naruto met the rest of the family. He and Sasuke became friends. Itachi trained them so that they could easily pass the exam. A year and a half has passed. Naruto and Sasuke became like brothers. But soon something happened that radically changed their lives. In one terrible night, Itachi slaughtered the entire Uchiha clan, leaving only his younger brother Sasuke and his best friend Naruto alive. To the latter he gives Sharingan Shursui. 5 years later, Naruto and Sasuke graduate from the academy. At the academy, they were self-contained. They didn't communicate with anyone, but when they came home they changed, as if they were other people. They had fun, played, argued, etc. Naruto and Sasuke, who has already awakened Sharingan, are enrolled in team number 7. Their partner will be Haruno Sakura, and Sensei Hatake Kakashi, son of White Fang Konoha. At first, they were glad that they were in the same team, but then they realized that Sakura was not capable of anything, and she would have to be protected. After completing the training, team number 7 is sent on a mission. It seems to be nothing complicated. You need to accompany one person, but it was not there. The 7th team was given the task to accompany one person. They go out at dawn, and while there was free time, Naruto decided to read something. The Book of the 7 Swords of Mist. These swords belong to the 7 Mist Swordsmen. They are very dangerous shinobi, but the sword of each of them has special abilities. The same Kubikuribocho has a very interesting property. The Kubikuribocho cannot be broken or notched. If you cut an opponent with it, the sword absorbs his blood and uses the iron in it to restore. Very interesting. We're going to the village of Hidden Mist. Maybe we'll meet some swordsmen there, Naruto thought and put down the book. He and Sasuke packed up and went to bed. At dawn they headed for the main gate. Sakura was already waiting for them there. Kakashi wasn't there. He's late again. How it pisses me off. Sasuke muttered almost out loud. After another 15 minutes, Kakashi appeared, and with him the customer. So Sasuke, Sakura, Naruto is our customer. Kakashi said, pointing at the man standing next to him. My name is Tazun. You will have to accompany me to the Hidden Mist village. I am responsible for the construction of the bridge in Nami no Kuni. But I'm afraid that not everyone needs this bridge, because one person wants to prevent the construction of the bridge. This is a rich entrepreneur Gato. The bridge we want to build could undermine his business. Everything is clear. Team number 7 exclaimed and set off. A few hours later, Kakashi offered to make a halt, seeing that Tazun was already exhausted. Sakura was sent for water. She went to the lake and began to draw water into a canteen. She was about to leave when she saw a man in the reflection on the water. Looking closer, she realized that this was not one of her partners. Suddenly she felt weak and fell to the ground. She didn't even have the strength to scream. Shinobi, who knocked out Sakura, decided not to stop halfway and swung his sword in order to finish off the exhausted girl. But his blow was abruptly interrupted. Raising his head, the ninja realized that his blow had stopped Kakashi. Abruptly jumping away from the son of White Fang Konoha. Are you Hatake Kakashi? A copying ninja? I've heard a lot about you. Shinobi reacted calmly, who are you? Kakashi asked and noticed that Naruto and Sasuke also joined him. What did you do to Sakura, you bastard? The blonde man was nervous. Naruto calmed down. If you get angry, it will be harder for you to take down this scumbag. Sasuke reasoned, you're right Sasuke, oh. Uchiha Sasuke. The last surviving Uchiha. Do you think your Sharingan can beat me? The stranger smiled, although it was difficult to understand, because he wore a mask about the same as Kakashi. Oh, yes. I forgot to introduce myself. I am Momochi Zabuza, the Kirigakure demon, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. I don't care about your name. Better tell me, what kind of sword do you have? The blue-eyed guy gradually calmed down. Well, since it's so interesting to you, then my sword is called Kubikuribocho, if that name means anything to you, brat. Oh, you. Naruto was getting more and more angry and unable to restrain himself. He rushed into battle, Sharingan. All 3 of them exclaimed, which immediately caused confusion. Naruto. He has one Sharingan. But from where? Kakashi wondered. Kakashi-sensei has a Sharingan? But he's not an Uchiha, is he? What exactly is going on here? Sasuke and Naruto were stunned. They all have Sharingans. Even that kid. It will be an interesting fight. Zabuza took out his sword. Okay. Let's go. Sasuke, let's have a fireball. Uzumaki commanded. Got it. Fire style. Fireball. Zabuza dodged the fire by jumping into the air, but Naruto was already waiting for him there. Suck it. The blonde man with the Sharingan shouted, and kicked the demon of the hidden mist in the face. Oh, you little creature. Kakashi, who was standing to the side, was more and more surprised at his students. After all, they didn't show it in training. And in general, they clashed with each other in every possible way. And now they're fighting an S-rank criminal on equal terms. Kakashi-sensei, will you still stand aside? Join us, otherwise you will miss all the fun. Kakashi began to accumulate chakra in his hand, forming a lightning bolt. Raikiri! The copying ninja shouted and rushed at the mist swordsman. Zabuza grinned, thinking that such a primitive attack would not hit him in the forehead, but then something happened that took his grin off his face. Two shadow clones of Naruto flew out of the ground and grabbed Zabuza, preventing him from dodging. This is the end of the bastard. Kakashi's technique pierced Momochi Zabuza, but he only smiled and water flowed instead, which meant that it was a water clone. If it's not real, then the original is already. Kakashi-sensei. Naruto. Where is Tazun? Uchiha shouted, damn it. We left him alone. The blonde man hit himself in the face and hurried to the place where they last saw the customer. But he was no longer there, damn it. How could we forget about him? Naruto sighed. After the battle with Zabuza, Kakashi and his team continued their journey into the hidden fog, but without the customer. Naruto-sensei hoped that upon arrival in the village, they would find a client for him. Naruto? Sakura was surprised. Naruto was carrying the disconnected Sakura. Let me go. Good, good. Yell. So why? What happened? You were knocked out by Momochi Zabuza, one of the 7 mist swordsmen. Sasuke explained. Exactly, during our battle, he was able to kidnap Tazuna. Now we are heading to the village to get information about Gato and his accomplices. When they got to the place, Sakura and Naruto were sent to collect information from the residents, and Kakashi and Sasuke decided to visit Tenza's family. Naruto and Sakura split up to get more information. An hour later, they met at an agreed place to share information with each other. Did you learn anything new? No, hanging her head, the girl replied. And you? Not either. I already knew everything they told me. Okay, then let's join Kakashi-sensei and Sasuke-kun. Green-eyed suggested. Okay, meanwhile, Kakashi and Sasuke have Gato wants to prevent the construction of the bridge because it will hit his business? I decided to make sure of the information Kakashi received. Yes, that's exactly it. Tenza's daughter replied, Kakashi-sensei, I wouldn't be surprised if Geto hired Zabuza. Sasuke reasoned, you think right. Okay, we have to go. Sakura and Naruto are already waiting. Sasuke, let's move out. Got it. Sasuke was about to follow Kakashi, but suddenly he saw something strange in the mirror. Strange. Deciding to check what he saw in the mirror or whether it seemed to him in general, Uchiha approached the mirror. It seems like nothing. Hey, Sasuke, what are you doing there? The copying ninja asked. Sensei, it seems that there is something wrong with the mirror. Sasuke said this, when suddenly a man appeared in the mirror. He was wearing a mask. Sasuke immediately jumped away from the mirror. Kakashi-sensei. There's someone in the mirror, what? The son of White Fang stared at the mirror in surprise. At that moment, a ninja jumped out of the mirror and threw needles towards Uchiha. Sasuke dodged in time and managed to activate the Sharingan. Tsunami, Inari, leave. He ordered his daughter and grandson Tazun to leave the house. Who are you? And what do you want? The mysterious shinobi was silent. For a minute, silence settled in the Tsunami house. But she was immediately interrupted by Sasuke. He launched 2 fireballs at the mist ninja. After the smoke from the fireballs dissipated, the shinobi of the leaf were greatly surprised. There was nothing left of the place where Sasuke's fire flew, but there was an unharmed mirror in the middle. Mirrors began to surround the owners of Sharingans and they became back-to-back in order to improve protection. A mysterious ninja appeared in one of the hundreds of mirrors and threw needles. Sasuke and Kakashi dodged, but they couldn't do it all the time, and Naruto and Sakura fared no better. Crossing the bridge, Zabuza attacked them. "You bastard! What did you do to old man Tazun?" The blue-eyed blonde man began to get angry. "And you're talking about this old man? Strangely enough, he is alive. I decided to check something out, and what is it?" Unable to stand it, Sakura intervened in the conversation. "If you defeat me, I will tell you where Tazun is. Why didn't you kill him? Let's just say I have a personal score to settle with the ghetto. You're finished." Jinchuriki shouted and rushed into battle. Naruto folded the seal. 2 shadow clones appeared near him. The original hit the mist swordsman in a jump. But Zabuza put a block on time. Intercepting the boy's blow, Zabuza made a water clone and began to fold the seals. "I won't let you!" The blonde man shouted, and his clones threw a water clone of Zabuza kunai with an explosive seal. Momochi Zabuza's clone disappears, and the original jumps away from Naruto, swinging his sword so that 2 shadow clones of Naruto disappear. With a sharp movement, the demon of the mist turns out to be behind the Jinchuriki. Zabuza pierces the blonde man with a sword. Blood flows from the wound of the blue-eyed man. Zabuza pulls the sword out of Naruto's half-dead body, causing him to fall to the ground. "Blood is spreading all over the earth, Naruto!" Sakura shouted. "Nah. Rodatu, the swordsman grinned. "Your friend is dead. Sorry. He was a good shinobi. Though hot-tempered. Now it's your turn." With these words, Zabuza rushed at Sakura. He had already swung at her. The pink-haired woman felt her death approaching. Kakashi was trying to guess which of the mirrors the ninja would appear in now. Having failed to guess once again, Kakashi gets injured. "Sensei, don't worry Sasuke. Try to keep track of the movement of his chakra." "Got it." Sasuke's Sharingan tensed. It was incredibly difficult to catch the mysterious shinobi. And yet Sasuke could. "Here!" He shouted and sent a stream of fire into one of the mirrors. The ninja of the mist flew out of it. All the mirrors around the second part of the 7th team broke. "Sasuke, you're doing great. Get some rest for now." "Got it." Kakashi approached the wounded shinobi. "Who are you?" "I'm Haku. Shinobi of the Hidden Mist. Zabuza's assistant." "I'm sorry, but I can't let you live." "I understand. Zabuza told me to give you information about Tenza's whereabouts if you win." "I'm listening." "Tenza is located." Kubikurabocho's punch interrupted Naruto. "What?" There was no limit to Zabuza's surprise. "I've already killed you, bastard. You think you're just going to get rid of me?" The blonde man raised his head. There was fear in Zabuza's eyes. Eyes. The eyes of this kid. They're like a demon's, scarier than mine. This boy, who is he? Zabuza did not have time to react, as Naruto hit the swordsman of the mist so that he flew 100 meters away. "Don't be afraid Sakura. I won't leave you." Sakura felt that he could rely on his blonde partner. She felt the chakra. This was not Naruto's chakra. This chakra was much colder and more terrible. Naruto began to become covered with a red shell. Waking up, Zabuza returned to the battlefield. What he saw shocked him. "So you're a 9-tailed fox demon. Interesting. The battle of demons. Who will be the winner?" Zabuza reasoned with a grin on his face. "Scum. You won't last 2 minutes." The fox yelled and rushed to Momochi. The blow was so fast that the mist swordsman did not have time to block it. Naruto didn't give him a break. Blow after blow. Having accumulated all the chakra in his hand, the blonde struck the last blow. The fox's hand went right through. His whole arm was covered in blood. Taking his hand out of the swordsman's body, Jinchuriki jumped away from him. The fox's chakras began to disappear. Well done, you killed me. The fog demon calmly began the conversation. Now listen. Tazun is located, so, listen up. Old man Tenza is on an abandoned farm south of here. But promise me that you will kill Gato. Zabuza continued the conversation. How did this ghetto annoy you so much? Kunoichi list couldn't resist, it's a long story. Save Tenza first, understood. Sakura and Naruto shouted and rushed to the farm. Along the way, they met Sasuke and Kakashi. After sharing the information with each other, they continued on their way. When they reached the abandoned farm, they found Tenza there and took him back to the village, and later they killed Geto and his accomplices. The mission was completed and they were returning home. Good job. Kakashi praised the students. Naruto, where did you get the Sharingan from? Kakashi-sensei, I have the same question for you. Well, it's a gift from a friend. I see, but mine came from Itachi. The night he slaughtered the entire Uchiha clan, he left Sasuke and me alive. He gave me Shirsui's Sharingan. I have a Mangekyo Sharingan. Naruto replied. The blonde's answer greatly surprised Kakashi, because the Mangekyo Sharingan Uchiha Shirsui was a very strong weapon. Mangekyo Sharingan Shirsui could use a very powerful genjutsu, Kodo Amatsuki. Thus, his Mangekyo Sharingan's ability was very useful. With the help of his genjutsu, Shirsui could control his opponents so well that they themselves do not notice it. In addition, the vision from the application of Shirsui's eye did not deteriorate. Sharingan helps to copy techniques that the user can use if he has the necessary conditions for this. And also with its help, you can adapt to the opponent's taijutsu. Naruto doesn't know how to use it, but when he learns, he will be able to surpass my Sharingan. In the meantime, his eye is on a par with Sasuke's eyes. Wondering at the boy's answer, the copying ninja thought. When they reached the village, the whole team dispersed. Kakashi went to the Hokage's residence to report to Hiruzen, the third Hokage, about the completed mission. Sakura and Sasuke went home. Naruto decided to go to Ichiraku Ramen. The way there was familiar to the boy. Everyone turned to look at him and whispered behind his back. Jinchuriki is already used to it. He knows about the fox that is sealed in him, but still does not understand the passers-by. Why? Why are they looking at me like that? What did I do to them? I'm not to blame for that attack 13 years ago. The blonde reflected sadly. And now at Ichiraku. Entering it, he greeted old Tuchi, the owner of Ichiraku, who had a positive attitude towards Blue-Eyed. Hi, Naruto. Hello, old man. I'll have 10 servings of ramen. The boy ordered his daily lunch. Won't you burst? He heard someone's familiar voice. Turning around, Naruto saw a blue-eyed blonde about 13 years old. It was his girlfriend Ino. He had been friends with her since childhood. He was her best friend, just like Sakura. They met by chance. All the girls were pining for Itachi's younger brother, with whom the blonde was friends. Ino and Sakura asked Naruto to introduce them to Sasuke closer. Naruto agreed, but he could not persuade Sasuke. Sakura, offended by Naruto for not fulfilling his promise, left and rarely talked to the boy afterwards, unlike Ino. She always felt good in the presence of Naruto. They were always together. When Ino found out that Haruno would be on the same team as Naruto and Sasuke, she was very upset. A loved one and a best friend are not on the same team with her. Inoichi's father already thought that Naruto and Ino were dating. He was neutral about the fox cub. Sometimes he was even glad that Ino was dating him. But when he found out that he and Ino were just friends, he hung his head slightly. After all, Naruto has visited Yamanaka more than once. He helped Inoichi. And soon Ino's father and Uzumaki became friends. Therefore, Yamanaka Inoichi was a little sad to learn that his daughter does not like Naruto as a guy. Oh. Ino, hello. The blonde man yelled, why are you yelling like that? I'm glad to see you, too. The girl smiled at her friend. Unlike Ino, Naruto felt very different feelings for Ino. He loved her, but when he found out that she did not love him, but continued to pine for the show-off Sasuke, he was upset, but did not hang his nose. He continued to believe that the blonde, sooner or later, would begin to feel the same feelings for him as he did for her. He didn't tell anyone about his love, but Sakura understood everything for a long time and helped Naruto achieve Ino, which the pink-haired Kunoichi did badly. Why isn't Ino attracted to Naruto? After all, he suits her. The same cheerful, sociable and kind. Both have blonde hair and blue eyes. They are like two halves of one whole. But Ino sees him only as his friend. A pity. They would make a great couple. Sakura Haruno thought, Ino, can we go somewhere? It's possible, but where? Well, I don't know. Let's go to the park. Okay, we'll meet at the park at 1900 hours. Okay, yeah. The blonde man replied, eating ramen. Okay, I'm off. See you later. Naruto smiled. Today I will confess to her. Yes. It is today. I hope she will reciprocate. Okay, we have to go get ready. Naruto thought, paying for the food. It was already 6 o'clock. Naruto started to get ready. This did not leave his friend without attention. Hey. Where are you going? Sasuke asked the dressing Jinchuriki on a date. The blonde man replied, with whom? With Ino. Good luck, just try not to tell her. What? Confess what? Puzzled, looked at Naruto's friend. In love, of course. Uchiha calmly replied, ah. Ooh, that's, well. Stop. How do you know? It can be seen with the naked eye. So you understood it without Sharingan? Blue-eyed decided to quip, ugh. Very funny, let's get dressed, otherwise you'll be late. That's it. I'm ready. Uzumaki exclaimed and left the house. Good luck. Sasuke shouted after him, yeah, thanks. Naruto said and headed towards the park. Naruto was heading towards the park. On the way, he met Inoichi, Ino's father. Hello, Inoichi-san. The boy said hello, Naruto. Hi. You look great. Where are you going? We decided to take a walk with Ino in the park. Good idea. Come on, don't waste the chance. Ino has a lot of boyfriends, they all want to hug. And I'm bang. And after that, they don't come, but new ones appear. And you're a good boy. My wife and I like you. So come on. Act. From these words, a blush appeared on the blonde's face, which he tried to restrain. He was not often praised, and therefore it was pleasant for him to listen to any praise. Especially from the parents of the beloved girl. All right, Inoichi-san, come on. I'm off. The blue-eyed Jinchuriki said goodbye. Yeah, good luck. Naruto came to the park before the appointed time. Looking around, he realized that Ino had not come yet, so he sat down on a bench near the entrance and began to wait for his beloved. 10 minutes later, a blonde came into the park. Ino immediately cast a glance at the sleeping shinobi. Smiling, she walked up to him and rubbed her hair. From this, the blonde boy woke up. Ah. Oh. Ino, hi. Sorry, I think I fell asleep. Nothing. You're so cute when you sleep. The blush reappeared on the blonde's cheeks. Naruto, I need to talk to you seriously. Me too, Ino. I wanted to tell you something. Me first. Very well, how should I put it? Well, say it as you like, Naruto. It looks like I'm in love, really. And who is he? Hoping that she would say his name, Jinchuriki asked, This is, come on, don't rush me. The girl raised her tone, good, this is Kiba. Naruto's mood plummeted. He had no words. Kiba was one of his friends at the academy. Together with Shikamaru and Choji, they often ran away from lessons. Kiba was called a dog lover. And there were sharp reasons for this. Kiba was a member of the Inuzuka clan, which was famous for the fact that representatives of this clan have well-trained dogs that provide great support in battles. Kiba's character was almost the same as Naruto's. There were red triangles on his cheeks. This is a kind of clan mark. Kiba has never had any feelings for Ino. He was more interested in Hinata. Hinata is a quiet, shy girl. Hinata was secretly in love with Naruto, but sooner or later it had to come out. She confessed to him. But there was a problem. The blonde did not like Hinata. She was like a sister to him. He constantly defended her from hooligans, for which they beat him. He wanted to help her and that was it. She had no mutual feelings. Naruto politely refused her, pointed to another guy. That guy was Kiba. Hinata didn't dare to meet him for a long time, she didn't really like him. But over time, the girl fell in love with him. They've been a couple ever since. And everyone knows about it. Hinata is also a member of the Hyuga clan, the main family. The Hyuga clan is the oldest and noblest clan of Konoha. It consists of two families, the main and the secondary. Hinata and her younger sister Hanabi are part of the main branch, and Hinata's brother Niji, who is 1 year older than her, is part of the secondary branch. Like the Uchiha clan, Hyuga possess special abilities and fighting styles. A side branch must always protect the main branch of the clan, even if it means giving your life for it. Hyuga clan is famous for Byakugan. This special eyes are the main feature of the clan, as well as the Sharingan of the Uchi. With the help of Byakugan, you can see the opponent's Tenketsu. This allows you to see your opponent even when he is behind some obstacle, for example, a wall. Why Kiba? After all, he's still that jerk. Why doesn't she notice that I like her? Then it doesn't make sense to confess to her, Naruto thought sadly. What about Hinata? Didn't you think that Kiba and Hinata are dating? I didn't think about it, but I still love him. I don't know why. But I do. What a fool you are. The blonde couldn't stand it. What? Ino asked in surprise. They had never seen a friend in such a state. I won't let you break a couple of them. Yes? And how will you do that? I don't know. But I will definitely come up with something great. So you don't want me to be happy? I do, but happiness built on the pain of another is not happiness. Fuck you, Uzumaki. I don't care what you think. I thought you were the only person who would always support me and understand, but it turns out that's not the case. If so, then you and I are no longer friends. You don't even have to come up to me, I won't talk to you. That's great, I'm better. Well, then good luck to you, aha and you. After shouting at each other, the couple separated. Naruto had so much anger and resentment in his soul that the nine-tailed one is resting. He barely restrained himself from shouting at the top of his voice. He was very ill. He knew perfectly well that now Ino wouldn't even want to talk to him, let alone become his girlfriend. But the blonde did not hang his nose. He decided to find a new love. There are plenty of beautiful and kind girls. And that I got attached to this Ino. Take the same Sakura. Why is she worse than Ino? The blonde man mused, heading for the house. Meanwhile, Ino's heart was also not at ease. What have I done? He's right. You can't destroy such a couple. And I. What a fool. She also told him all sorts of nonsense. Damn it. I hope you'll forgive me, Naruto. But I still can't do anything about my love. I'll apologize to him tomorrow. What have I done? The next morning, after a quarrel between Naruto and Ino, the girl who decided to apologize goes to her friend's house. Ino knocked on the door. To her surprise, the door was unlocked. Isn't he afraid of anyone? The blonde thought, going inside. Naruto. Hey! Lazy, forgive me. Naruto. The girl was still shouting. Naruto? Having lowered the tone, the blue-eyed one began to look for a friend. It looks like he's not at home. Where is he hanging around so early? Ino decided to inspect all the rooms again. When she entered the kitchen, she was amazed. There were fast food and expired milk on the table. And this is what he eats? A nightmare. The girl was horrified. But remembering that her best friend has no one, and there is no one to take care of him, she felt sad. She felt sorry for the blonde. Meanwhile, Naruto was walking toward Sakura. Sakura-chan. Naruto called his partner. Naruto? The girl asked sleepily. Jinchuriki realized that he had come at the wrong time, because now he would get into trouble for waking her up. What the fuck are you doing here? Sakura-chan, let's go for a walk, eh? Shall we take a walk? I want to talk to you. Well, I'll change my clothes and go out. The girl was extremely surprised. Usually Naruto called Ino for a walk. And then he called Sakura. It's all strange, the girl thought, getting dressed. 20 minutes later, Sakura left the house. Sakura-chan, what's taking so long? You'll know how to get me up so early. So what did you want to talk about, Sakura? Well, don't pull it, Naruto. Well, how would it be? Do you want to date? Jinchuriki said, blushing. What? What about Ino? We had a fight with her. Moreover, she loves Kibu. Isn't he dating Hinata? I told her, and she said she didn't care. In general, Sakura, answer. Will you date me, Naruto? I'm sorry, but I don't love you. The blonde's heart was pierced by pain for the second time. What is he doing wrong? Why all the girls close to him don't want to meet him? Why do they all take him for a friend? Noticing that Sakura's partner was sad, she decided to cheer him up. Naruto, let's go to Ichiraku. Oh, come on, only you pay. Well, Sakura-chan, what? It's a date. So you, as a man, have to pay for your girlfriend. A date? So do you agree to date me? The blonde's mood rose sharply. He was glowing with happiness. Noticing this, Sakura decided not to upset her friend, so she answered something in between yes and no. I'll think about it. Hurrah. Sakura-chan, you won't regret it. I'm already sorry. Putting his arm around the girl's waist, Naruto dragged Sakura to Ichiraku. Pink-haired Kunoichi did not like this treatment and she hit her friend on the head. But he wasn't offended. On the way, he told her various stories, from which the girl sincerely smiled. I didn't think I'd ever feel so good with him. He's like the sun. Ino was in Naruto's house all this time, inspecting his mansions. Yeah, well, it's a mess here. It's like there used to be a zoo here, and then they had a party. With a smile on her face, the blonde reasoned. She decided to clean up. After all, if she does not do this, then this lazy person will get his hands on cleaning. After cleaning, she left the house, closing the door tightly. So, if he's not at home, then he's in Ichiraku. It dawned on the girl. And with a decisive step, she headed towards the diner. Naruto and Sakura were already there. That's it, Naruto. Thank you for your time, you're welcome. If you want, we can go somewhere else. No, thanks. I've got my hands full. I'm already late because I was out with you, well, as you know. Let me walk you home. I agree to that. With that, they left Ichiraku. Ino was watching all this. Something stung her badly. Is it really jealousy? No, it can't be. She continued to follow the couple. Naruto stopped. Sakura looked at him in surprise. What are you doing? It's nothing. Just a shoelace untied. I am now at this time. Boys were running past. They knocked Sakura down, and she fell on the blonde. Without hesitation, she kissed him on the lips. She didn't know why. It looks like I've fallen in love, Sakura thought, continuing the kiss. Naruto, without hesitation, answered it. Ino looked at all this in tears. She couldn't believe it, and Naruto was happy. It looks like I've found my love, the blonde mused, continuing to kiss his beloved. The kiss was abruptly interrupted. Sakura whispered softly in his ear, Naruto, this is not the place for our kisses. Come to my house. The blonde only nodded contentedly, making it clear that he was willing to go anywhere now, as long as he was with her. Sakura pulled Naruto to her home. They were followed by Ino, who was in tears from what she saw. What's wrong with me? Why am I crying? I should be happy for my friend. And I. What is this feeling? I can't believe it, but it looks like I fell in love with Naruto. But he's my friend, and Sakura is my friend. No way, Sakura. I won't give you Naruto just like that. I won't give up. After all, this is my ninja way. Remembering Naruto's words, the blonde made a decision. Flashback: a blue-eyed girl with blonde hair was sitting on a bench and crying. It was raining, but she didn't seem to notice it. A boy with the same blonde hair and eyes, the color of the sky, came up to her. Why are you crying? The boy asked. Yes, I lost my brother. Sobbing, the blonde answered through tears, this is bad. And what's his name? Tenru. Don't worry, where did you lose it? Yes, here. In the park. He's so small. Black hair, wearing a red t-shirt with the sign of fire. I'll find him. I promise. The boy solemnly declared, honestly. The girl's tears stopped pouring from her blue eyes, of course. After all, this is my ninja way. The blonde man shouted and rushed to search. What was Ino's surprise when Naruto brought her younger brother. Thank you, Naruto. My name is Naruto. Thank you, Naruto. My name is Ino. Yeah. If you need anything, contact us. A smile appeared on the girl's face and she took Tenra by the hand and went home. The end of the flashback. Meanwhile, Sakura brought Naruto into the house. Naruto, I want to tell you something. What is it? The blonde man asked with a smile on his face. Do you remember about your proposal to date? Well, I agree. Is it true? Yeah. Kunoichi replied and hugged the guy. I am insanely glad. Sakura, me too. Sorry, but I have to go. Kakashi-sensei said that I should be at the Hokage building by 2 o'clock. Well, if that's the case, then go. Bye, Sakura. I'll see you again. Bye, Naruto. The girl smiled, watching the departing Jinchuriki. After 20 minutes, Ino came into Sakura's house. Hi, Ino. Nice to see you. What I won't say about myself. The blonde said in an evil voice. What are you doing? The girl decided to ask. So Naruto decided to take me away. What? There was no limit to the pink-haired woman's surprise. What did you hear? How dare you? You told him yourself that you didn't want to see him. What can you not say in a fit of anger? So I blurted it out. Do you think I'll believe you? And what difference does it make? Naruto and I are dating now. I won't give it to you just like that. Since when do you think he's your boyfriend? Previously, you treated him only as a friend, recently. It's not important for you to know. Ino was saying, raising her tone. Yes. Do you really think that I will give it to you because we are old friends? If you don't want to do it in a good way, then it will be in a bad way, and what will you do? I challenge you to a fight. The winner will be with Naruto. It's coming. When and where? The Chunin exam is coming soon, and we'll meet there. It's done. Just promise not to cry when you lose. Who would tell me that? Lobby head, pork, lobastea, and so it went on for a long time. They bombarded each other with insults until Yamanaka got tired of it all, and she slammed the door and left Haruno's house. The exam is coming soon. That's where I'll show you, lobby head. Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke met at Haruno's house. Then they headed to the stadium to register. After registering, they went to the first stage of the exam. At the first written stage of the exam, each candidate receives a sheet with 9 questions. The 10th question is asked orally only at the end of the first stage. Genin has exactly 1 hour to complete the written test. Each candidate receives 1 point for each correct answer. For each incorrect or missed question, a period is put when checking the test. If no team member gets a single point, then the entire team is disqualified. If this is not the case, then all the team points received are added up at the end of the exam, maximum 30, so the test is designed for the whole team. Among the participants, there are also cheaters and scammers who will be disqualified along with their teammates if one of them tries to cheat 5 times. It's actually a clever trick. The true purpose of this stage is to test the students as professional scouts who must learn how to extract information so that they are not caught. They have no other choice but to write off the test, since the questions are too difficult for ordinary genins. Because of this, 2 chunins disguised as genins are introduced to the participants, who know the answers to all questions in advance. After the end of the written exam, candidates stop answering questions. After that, the examiner of this stage, Marino Ibiki, asks the 10th question to the candidates. He also adds that even if the candidates answered all 9 written questions, but at least one of their team failed to answer the 10th question correctly, the team's points total becomes 0. If at least one team member cannot answer the 10th question, then the whole team can never take the exam again. If the candidate is not confident in himself, then he can raise his hand and refuse, in which case the whole team gets the right to take the exam for the next year. In fact, the 10th question is another test, because all candidates who decide to answer this question automatically qualify for the second stage. Thus, he is something of a choice for every shinobi. After the first exam, Kakashi's team headed to the Forest of Death. There they passed the second stage of the exam. The candidate gets the right to participate in the second stage of the exam after each member of his team agrees in writing that they are ready to die for the sake of passing the exam. After that, the examiner of the second stage, Mitarashi Anko, gives each team a scroll with the kanji heaven or earth. The heaven scroll is distributed to 1/2 of the participants, and the earth scroll to the other half. The goal of this stage is the so-called Forest of Death, where participants must get another kind of scroll, thus collecting both kinds, after which they must go to the tower. Teams have to fight each other for scrolls, so they are given only 5 days to do it. Each team has to look for a team with a different kind of scroll to get it. However, if the other team has the same scroll as them, then the battle does not happen. Opening scrolls is prohibited until you arrive at the tower with both scrolls. Otherwise, the participants will be punished and disqualified. If at least one team member dies or is unable to continue the test, then this is considered an automatic disqualification of the entire group. After arriving at the tower, having both kinds of scrolls, the team members must reveal them. After the disclosure, Chunin appears from the scrolls and informs the team about the passage to the next round. Team number 7 received the second scroll by defeating one of the sound teams. After passing the second stage, the team goes to the third. If a large number of teams pass both of the previous stages, then qualifying matches are held. Candidates who have passed them take part in the final stage only after some time. The final stage begins only after the number of participants has decreased. Genins who are not fighting yet or, on the contrary, have finished their duel, watch the rest of the fights from the balcony above the arena with their commanders. In this exam, each team member fights for himself, that is, if one of the team members loses his duel, and the other two win, they still go through to the final round. In case of a draw, both opponents lose. The examiner of this stage is Gekko Heiate. The first duel, Akamichi Choji vs Uchiha Sasuke por Chioji. Shikamaru side. Shikamaru refers to people who are not inspired by much and prefer to take a sweet nap rather than go and have fun. He likes games where you have to think a lot, which are usually enjoyed by people in old age, like, for example, shogi. He constantly plays this game with his father Shikaku, as well as Sensei Asuma. Shikamaru has a habit of closing his eyes and connecting his fingers to form a square, so he can concentrate and think of a new strategy. Under such conditions, he is able to evaluate many different tactics in a few minutes and choose the most effective one. Nevertheless, when duty calls, Shikamaru shows a very strong sense of moral responsibility for his comrades. Even if, as he claims, he lacks courage, Shikamaru will sacrifice himself for the benefit of his friends, resisting certain death. Choji's homely nature and unbridled strength provide much to the understanding of his complex nature. Deep down, he is a sensitive, conscientious person who is easily offended by slander. In addition, with the appearance of his friend, Choji became a more confident and personable shinobi. By himself, Choji is a very kind person. He does not want conflicts and prefers a peaceful path. In addition, he was very cowardly as a child, but insults in his direction provoke Choji into battles in which he is ready to show all his abilities. However, if he is insulted by his friends, Choji only feigns anger and does not decide to engage them in battle. Yeah. And don't tell me. Ino supported the conversation. Meanwhile, Choji and Sasuke entered the arena. The outcome of the battle was already predetermined. Let's get started. Gekko Heiate shouted. The fight has begun. Sasuke jumped into the air and released 3 small fireballs. Choji dodged the fire and began to fold the seals. Akamichi began to grow in size, and his hair began to cover his body. Soon he turned into a ball that was covered with hair, which became noticeably stronger, which made them look like metal. Meet tank technique. With these words, Choji rushed to Uchiha. Sasuke jumped into the air, thereby dodging his opponent's attack. Choji flew into the wall, stuck in it. And Sasuke landed behind him, folding the seals. He released a huge fireball. Choji burned fell to the floor, shrinking in size. Uchiha Sasuke won. Gekko Heiate announced, second match, Aburame Shino vs Tenten. Tenten show him the true power of youth. Lee shouted, Shino is quite calm, lonely and quiet person. Most of his time is spent watching bugs. He often likes to invent new jutsu based on bugs. In addition to liking bugs, Shino is characterized as withdrawn and insensitive. He always speaks directly and without emotion. He constantly hides his face and rarely speaks. Tenten has a strong personality. She is respectful to her teammates. Despite this, she often loses her temper, seeing the inhuman enthusiasm of her teacher Guy and teammate Rock Lee. Most often, her other teammate, Niji, is similar to her in many ways in such situations. She dreams of becoming as strong and respected a kunoichi as Tsunade. Thanks to Guy's hard training, she managed to become a really strong shinobi. Let's get started. The fight started and Tenten immediately took out some scrolls. Using the seals, she summoned about 100 kunai, who flew to Shino. Shino stretched out his arms and bugs flew out of his sleeves, which were substituted for kunai. After releasing a few more bugs, Aburame took 2 kunai with explosive seals from his pouch, which he launched into the Tenten. Shino thought of everything. The explosive seals were masked by bugs. And since Tenten was standing close to the wall, she took a few steps to the left to dodge the kunai. Kunai stuck near her, but that was not all. The beetles scattered and Tenten's gaze fell on the explosive seals. She didn't manage to dodge in time and was hit by an explosion. Aburame Shino won. Third match, Kankuro vs Hyuga Hinata. Hyuga Hinata belongs to the main line of Hyuga and is the eldest daughter of the leader of the Hayashi clan, which makes her the main heir. She is an extremely quiet, kind, modest and insecure girl. In this regard, it is difficult for her to communicate with people and express her own opinion, which can also lead to the failure of the mission entrusted to her and her team. Nevertheless, she is a strong-willed person, striving to become stronger and better so as not to be a burden to her comrades. Hinata is also very well versed in people, but despite this, her character and talents cast doubt on becoming a clan leader, which is why the father relies more on his younger daughter, Hanabi, considering her stronger. Kankuro behaves very rudely and brazenly, often thinking only of himself. Most likely, his character was influenced by the absence of friends, since he was called brother of the demon, Gaara's brother, and no one played with him. But despite this, Kankuro behaves reasonably and acts strategically and deliberately during the battle. Akamaru jumped off Inazuki's head, and the dog's owner began to accumulate chakra. Naruto didn't know much about the opponent's abilities, so he decided to activate Sharingan in order to get acquainted with the opponent's taijutsu and ninjutsu. The blonde's right eye stopped being blue. It turned red. Kiba did not immediately understand what had happened, however, as did half of the observers. But Sasuke and Kakashi have already guessed this. Sharingan. Naruto screamed and his right eye was already completely red with 3 black dots near the pupil. This caused a real shock to the observers. After all, Naruto is not an Uchiha and therefore he cannot have a Sharingan. Kakashi kept calm when he saw what he saw. He had already seen the right eye of the blonde Jinchuriki. Naruto has the 3rd level already. Somehow he developed it quickly, although perhaps it's thanks to Shursui, who was the owner of the eye before. Thought Kakashi.at. The first application, the user has only 1 volume per eye. The more often he uses it, the greater the opportunity to get the following volumes. The maximum achievable number of volumes is 3 per eye. Kiba, meanwhile, having accumulated enough chakra, rushed into battle. He threw 3 smoke bombs at Naruto, but thanks to Sharingan, Jinchuriki knew where and at what moment Inuzuka would strike along with his dog. The smoke dissipated, and there was not a single scratch on Naruto. Not bad. Praised Naruto. Kiba, I can do better, then don't hold back, otherwise you will lose. With these words, he folded his fingers and the next moment, Kiba's dog became an exact copy of him, except that he could not speak. What is this technique? Why did Akamaru turn into you? But there was no response, because Kiba and his dog rushed to Naruto with great speed. Getsuga! Inuzuka shouted and turned into some kind of hurricane. Akamaru did the same for him. Naruto, thinking about what to do, did not notice how the dogman technique overtook him. Naruto was pierced and he fell to the floor without strength. Naruto. Sakura and Ino cried out at the same time, "Ha, loser!" Kiba said, grinning. He already thought that he had won and therefore, with a confident step, headed for the stairs, but there it was. Where are you going? We're not done with you yet. Getting up, the blue-eyed blonde man said, Are you still moving? I admit I'm surprised, but no more. Better give up, or else you'll die. But Uzumaki didn't listen to him. The moment when Kiba attacked him was enough for Naruto to figure out his movements. Now he could calmly predict when Kiba would attack. What would I do without Sharingan? Naruto thought and decided to attack Kiba. Naruto swung his leg, but Kiba calmly dodged. Huh, and you think you're going to beat me? Of course. Meanwhile, Inuzuka began to accumulate chakra for the next Gazuga. Naruto realized this, and decided to cheat. The plan was already ready and therefore it remained only to put it into action. Akamaru has already turned into a Kiba and has taken a stand. They're going to start attacking now, the blonde reasoned. And so, Kiba threw 3 smoke bombs and they, together with Akamaru, rushed at Naruto using Getsuga. Jinchuriki was pierced again, but now it was planned. The bloody Jinchuriki landed on his head. It seemed that Kiba had won, but it was not there. The smoke dissipated, and Naruto was lying there, but after 2 seconds the transformation technique dissipated. Akamaru was lying there. While Inuzuka was in shock, the masked Naruto standing next to Kiba hit him in the face. Kiba flew away a few meters. How? I sent your dog to Genjutsu. He's been under my control all this time. Yes, I love you, do not rush. Uzumaki said and folded his fingers. There was so much chakra that it started coming out of Naruto. Realizing that the chakra limit had been reached, Naruto used the technique of mass shadow cloning. 50 more clones appeared next to him. Naruto ran up to Kiba and kicked him in the tackle, so that he went into the air, where the clones were waiting for him. They started hitting Kiba in the air. The clones scattered, and from the cloud that arose due to the disappearance of the clones, Naruto appeared, who delivered a decisive blow to the stomach, thereby sending Inuzuka to the ground. The earth was cracking under Kiba. And soon cracks appeared there. Naruto Uzumaki has won. The examiner announced the winner. Naruto was climbing up to the balcony to watch the next fight when Sakura attacked him. Naruto wanted to hug her back, but when he saw Ino's sad look, he restrained himself. Then the blonde's gaze began to change. Her mood was turning into rage. She walked up to Naruto and pushed Haruno away. Lobastea, have you forgotten who won? It doesn't change anything, because Naruto loves me. No, he loves me. Isn't that right, Naruto? Naruto, to put it mildly, was in shock and unable to answer anything intelligible. But after 5 seconds of arguing, the girls came to their senses and asked a question. What are you talking about? Why do you ask who I love, and in general, what does victory in a duel have to do with it? Naruto, dear, Sakura did not have time to finish, as she was interrupted. Dear. Since when? Since we kissed. If he's expensive, then explain why he needs such a cheap girl like you. That's it. You asked for it, come on, you. The blonde separated the girls. Answer me a question. Well, Ino and I had a bet, whoever wins the exam will get you. The pink-haired Kunoichi answered the question. What? Am I some kind of piece of meat for you? And you asked me who I want to be with? The blonde man got nervous. But Naruto, do you love me? No, he loves me. The girls started arguing again. Okay, stop it. Come on, I'll decide who I'm going to be with. In the meantime, leave me alone, both of you. Uzumaki couldn't stand it and left the girls. Now I understand why Sasuke is so infuriating when crowds of girls run after him. Exam results. Uchiha Sasuke, Akimichi Choji. Winner, Uchiha Sasuke, Aburame Shino, 10-10. Winner, Aburame Shino, Kakuro, Hyuga Hinata. Winner, Kankuro, Tamari, Shinshiro Utanoza. Winner, Temari, Haruno Sakura, Yamanaka Ino. Winner, Yamanaka Ino, Naruto Uzumaki, Inazuka Kiba. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Hyuga Niji, Throne Dosu. Winner, Hyuga Niji, Rock Lee, Gaara. Winner, Gaara, Nara Shikamaru, Tsuchi Kin. Winner, Nara Shikamaru. There are 2 months left until the final stage of the exam. And for Naruto, this meant that he would have to train hard. Kakashi trained with Sasuke. So Naruto had to find another sensei. On the way home, he saw Jiraiya. Jiraiya greeted Naruto. And the blonde asked him to teach him a couple of new techniques, to which the legendary Sannin agreed. Naruto and Sasuke have known Jiraiya for a long time. He helped them move away from what happened to the Uchiha clan. Naruto had already become close to Sasuke's parents and therefore they were like uncle and aunt to him. Jiraiya spent a lot of time with them. But then he left, telling Uchiha and Uzumaki that he was going on a top-secret mission. And they haven't seen him since. Jiraiya said he was waiting for Naruto at the entrance to the village in 2 hours to go to training. Naruto went home to pack his things. Jiraiya is a rather tall man of athletic build. A distinctive feature of Jiraiya is his spiky white hair, long to the waist. Behind the back they are gathered in a tail. There are 2 red lines under his eyes. On his head he wears a kind of protector with horns, on which is painted kanji, meaning oil. There is a convex mole on the right side of his nose. He also has rather small black eyes. Jiraiya is dressed in a light green kimono, tied with a black belt, under which he wears a mesh shirt. Over the kimono, he wears a red haori with yellow ovals on both sides. He is shod with geta. For all the time spent in training, Naruto has learned several new techniques. Rasengan is one of them. Rasengan is a rank A technique created by Namikaze Minato. This jutsu does not require the addition of seals, but depends on the colossal concentration and control of the chakra. It is a spherical clod of chakra, rotating at high speed and possessing incredible strength. To learn Rasengan, Naruto had to go through 3 stages. At the first stage, the user must master the rotation of the chakra in a chaotic manner, in the form of a ball, but clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on the type of circulation of the shinobi chakra. To do this, the user must have good chakra control. This stage is carried out with the help of a water ball, which explodes after the chakra rotates in different directions. At the second stage, which is noticeably more difficult than the first, the user must give the chakra more power by concentrating it at one point. This stage is performed using a rubber ball that explodes after compression. At the third and last stage, the user must master the rotation of the chakra within a single formed surface to give stability. It can be used only after mastering the first and second stages. This stage is performed using a balloon. Only after mastering the third stage, Rasengan acquires destructive power. He also learned how to use shadow clones properly. Increased the maximum number of clones created to 100. I strengthened my Sharingan. Mastered it. Naruto is not bad. Now he had a good command of Genjutsu, but he had not yet acquired Mangekyo. Now the blonde is ready for the final stage of the exam. All the finalists arrived, except Yamanaka Ino, who dropped out for 2 reasons. Firstly, she herself refused to go further, because she understood that only the strongest opponents remained in the final, and the second reason is an odd number of finalists. List of fights: Naruto Uzumaki vs Sasuke Uchiha, Kankuro vs Nara Shikamaru, Temari vs Aburame Shino, Hyuga Niji vs Gaara. Everyone wanted to see Hyuga vs Uchiha fight because they are 2 geniuses of Konoha, but instead they have to watch some pathetic Uzumaki. Everyone bet on Sasuke without thinking. But Uchiha did not appear for a long time, which is why the first fight was postponed for a while. Instead of Naruto and Sasuke, Kankuro and Shikamaru fought. Kankuro and Shikamaru entered the arena. This fight promised to be interesting. It was difficult for Shikamaru to come up with tactics against a fighter who does almost nothing during a fight. And his puppets can safely attack Shikamaru head-on. Let's get started, the fight has begun. Nara immediately jumped back to the tree behind him. Shikamaru decided to think about a battle plan. A fight with such an opponent will be a hard test for me. Meanwhile, Kankuro didn't waste any time. He had already prepared both puppets for battle. Kankuro didn't expect to defeat Shikamaru as easily as Hinata. Kankuro sent one puppet to Shikamaru, who was sitting behind a tree. Kankuro dolls are called Karasu and Kurori. Kurori's body is empty and serves to capture the enemy. If the opponent is caught, the user can kill him with the help of Karasu. The basis of Karasu is an attack, which is why there are kunai, hari, and bombs inside the doll. Shikamaru was already waiting for Karasu there. He suddenly jumped out from behind a tree and threw a kunai with an explosive seal at Kara's. When the smoke cleared, Konoha's genius saw that the doll had not broken. Nara jumped so that he immediately found himself behind another tree. Kankuro didn't care. He underestimated Shikamaru, so he sent Karasu for Nara again. This time Kankuro decided to cheat and made a maneuver with his hands. Karasu spat out a bomb that flew into the tree behind which Shikamaru was sitting. Hearing the explosion, Shikamaru left his shelter. There he came up with several tactics. Here Kankuro decided to send Kurori to the case, with whom he planned to capture Shikamaru. But the genius was not so simple. Having folded the seal, he threw a kunai with some kind of seal into the opening body of the puppet, after which Nara made a replacement and ended up at the top of the tree behind which he was hiding at the very beginning of the battle. Will you stop running away? The puppet master grinned. Nara smiled and noticed that another sand puppet was moving towards him. Kurori, with an open body, returned to the owner. Shikamaru dodged the attack by jumping down from a tree. He headed out into the open towards Kankuro, but Kurori blocked his way. Nara jumped away from Kurori, but Karasu was already waiting for him from behind, who wanted to push the genius inside another puppet. Shikamaru made a substitution again. This time Kankuro didn't know which tree his opponent was hiding behind. Meanwhile, a strip of shadow was moving towards the sand puppet. Suddenly, Kankuro stopped moving. You got caught. Shikamaru exulted. What are you going to do? You'll see. Nara began to walk in a circle. Stopping abruptly, he jumped in the opposite direction from Kankuro. The same thing was repeated by the puppet master. But there was one but. There was a void behind the bunk, but behind the Kankuro was a Kurori with an open body. That's where Kankuro landed. Decided to use my weapon against me? Not bad. Praised the opponent Shinobi Sand. But what are you going to do now? I told you, you'll see. Shikamaru suddenly interrupted the shadow capture technique, and while Kankuro did not realize it, he folded his fingers. The puppet had a kunai with an explosion seal thrown by Nara. So that's why he threw it. Now Kankuro had nowhere to go. There was an explosion. Kankuro flew out of the doll and fell to the ground. The examiner realized that the sand ninja would not get up. The winner is Nara. Shikamaru. Next fight, Temari vs Aburame Shino. This fight was too fast. Temari, without thinking, activated the third moon on her fan and waved her fan. The wind was very strong. Even those who watched the fight from the balcony covered their faces from the strong wind. Shino flew into the wall. The winner is Temari. Next fight, Gaara vs Hyuga Niji. This fight was the second most anticipated battle after the battle of Uchiha and Uzumaki. The sight of Gaara caused fear in many, but not in Niji, who, as usual, was calm. Gaara has dark red short hair. He has big light green eyes. A notable feature of Gaara is his black bags under his eyes, which are caused by the fact that Biju Shikaku is in it, who never sleeps and craves blood. On his forehead, he has the kanji A, which means love. The fight has begun, but neither Gaara nor Neji are attacking. After all, they know that one mistake and they lost. Gaara was cruel. As a child, he suffered a lot, which affected his future. Sand began to come out of Gaara's pumpkin, which he carries on his back. The sand shinobi directed the sand towards Hyuga. The owner of the Byakugan began to spin quickly and soon a blue vortex appeared near him. After Hyuga stopped spinning, he ran towards the ninja from Suna. He started hitting, trying to knock out Tenketsu from the opponent, but he failed. Gaara folded the seal and put his hands to the ground. Sand began to surround Neji. Using the vortex again, Neji got rid of the sand surrounding him. Hyuga tried to hit Gaara with his palm, but sand was placed on him. A smile appeared on Huey's face. Soft palm. A member of Hyuga's side family shouted, and Gaara flew several meters away. Neji wasted no time running back to Gaara. But this time he decided to start attacking. He made sand near him and folded his fingers on one hand, using the technique of sand shurikens. Shurikens flew out of the sand, which the owner of the Byakugan beat off with a kunai. Gaara wanted to outwit Neji by distracting him with shurikens. Gaara created sand around Hyuga, with which he wanted to create a sand coffin. But with the help of Byakugan, Neji saw the danger and jumped away from Gaara in time. Sandy Jinchuriki realized that Hyuga could not be defeated so easily, so he folded the seal. Sand tsunami. Gaara shouted, looking at Neji with a sick look. All the sand from the pumpkin spilled out. The whole arena was covered in sand. Neji used the vortex again, but it didn't help anymore. There was too much sand. Gaara began to form a huge wave of sand. Reaching about 5 meters in height, the wave covered Hyuga. Gaara started collecting sand from the arena back into the pumpkin. When the sand disappeared, Neji was lying in the arena. He was covered in blood. Medics ran into the arena and took Hyuga away. The winner of Gaara, next fight, Naruto Uzumaki vs Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke hadn't appeared yet and Naruto was already getting angry when two people suddenly appeared in the middle of the arena. Taking a closer look, Uzumaki recognized them as his friend and teacher. Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke. There was a joyful shout from the podium. It was Naruto. Naruto. Sasuke smiled at the opponent. I thought you were scared. Who are you? Don't make me laugh. Sorry I'm late. Kakashi apologized to the examiner. Sasuke hasn't been expelled yet? No. The examiner calmly replied. So here we go. Kakashi moved to the observation bridge and watched the fight. Sakura and Ino, who were sitting on the podium, looked impatiently. I hope Naruto can win. Yeah, I would also like Naruto to win, but he's still weaker than Sasuke. Ino was a little upset. You haven't seen what Naruto can do. Sakura grinned. He's on the same team with me, so I know him better. Meanwhile, in the arena, Sasuke and Naruto took up fighting positions. Sharingan. Both of them cried out. Uzumaki took out a kunai. Sasuke followed his example without hesitation. Naruto rushed into battle first after a brief duel on kunai, which flew out of the hands of both ninjas at the last attack. Naruto and Sasuke began to fight with the help of taijutsu and ninjutsu. Sasuke kicked the blonde man in the jaw, and then finished him off in the stomach with the second leg. Jinchuriki flew several meters away. Uchiha began to fold the seals. Fire style, fireball. Naruto's friend shouted and launched a fireball at him. Naruto copied Sasuke's technique with the help of Sharingan and repeated it. Two fireballs collided together. The forces were equal, so an explosion thundered in the epicenter of the collision of the two techniques. The technicians scattered. Sharingan owners began to accumulate chakra in their hands, which seemed strange. Kakashi was surprised only by Naruto, because he knew that Sasuke knows how to use Chidori, but Uzumaki does not. Then why is he saving up the chakra in his hand? Sasuke formed a Chidori and rushed at Naruto. The blonde did not hesitate and formed a ball of chakra, stretched out his hand and ran at Sasuke. Most of the audience couldn't believe their eyes. The technique that Naruto used was Rasengan. This is the technique of the fourth Hokage. How does this brat know her? Who taught the fox cub this technique? The thoughts of the audience were different, but they all converged to one thing. Naruto learned the technique of the fourth Hokage. The third was in shock, watching what was happening. And not only him. Kakashi was very surprised and did not hear that Guy was saying something to him. Kakashi. Kakashi, can you hear me? Pulled Kakashi out of his thoughts. Guy, ah. Yes, I'm listening to you, Guy. Did you teach Sasuke Chidori? Yes, this is a very dangerous technique. Are you sure it's not too early for him to know her? What about the gate? Have you taught me the forbidden technique and are you telling me that I did not do a deliberate act? Guy hesitated after these words. Meanwhile, in the arena, Uchiha and Uzumaki techniques collided. Rasengan. The blonde Jinchuriki shouted, Chidori. Shouted the last survivor of the Uchiha clan. There was a strong explosion. Smoke covered the center of the arena where Sasuke and Naruto were fighting. The smoke gradually began to dissipate. The eyes of the audience fell on two boys lying in the middle of the arena. Is it really a draw? The examiner thought, when suddenly Sasuke began to rise slowly but surely. I beat you, Naruto. Sasuke said breathlessly, but it wasn't there. The Naruto lying on the floor was a clone that disappeared when Sasuke got up. Two Naruto clones jumped out of the ground, which hit Sasuke in the jaw and sent him into the air. Uchiha saw a silhouette. He couldn't see it because the sun was blinding him. It was Naruto Uzumaki who decided to finish off his friend. The blonde man hit the brunette on the head with his foot, so that Sasuke landed on the ground with his face. The blue-eyed blonde landed on the arena. It was obvious that Uzumaki was tired. His breathless appearance testified to this. Seeing that Uchiha did not rise, the examiner declared the winner. Naruto Uzumaki has won. Naruto smiled and approached his friend. He held out his hand to Sasuke, helping him up. Soon the doctors came, who took the brunette for examination. An hour's break was given before the final battles. Naruto went to the observation stand where Shikamaru, Temari, and Gaara were standing. Having entered the premises, the blonde man began to climb the stairs and was already heading for the podium when someone called out to him, Naruto, I'd like to talk. Uzumaki turned around and a blue-eyed beautiful blonde stood in front of him. It was Ino. What do you want? I would like to apologize to you for what I said in the park. Never mind, it's too late, I already took it. The girl said with a slight smile. I'm sorry. She said almost in a whisper and kissed Naruto on the lips. The blonde Jinchuriki stood with bulging eyes. Naruto, I love you. The girl confessed. The blue-eyed one has zero reaction. Naruto? I decided to bring him to the senses of a blonde. Sorry, I have to go. With these words, the owner of Shirsui's eye turned around and walked to the podium. There were a lot of thoughts in his head. What am I doing? I should have returned the kiss. What about Sakura? Damn, I'm really confused. Okay, figs with him. Anyway, I'm going on a trip with Jiraiya-sensei after the exam is over. I'll ask him what to do. And when I return to the village, Sakura and Ino will definitely find guys for themselves, or at least one of them, so that I would take the second one. Naruto reasoned with a smile on his face. The hour of the break flew by very quickly. During this time, the following fights were announced several times. Naruto, Shikamaru, Temari and Gaara advanced to the semi-finals. Duels, Gaara, Temari Naruto, Shikamaru. As soon as the Sand Ninja was invited to the arena, Temari's voice was heard from the stands. I give up, let's have the next fight. Temari exclaimed. She knew her brother very well. Gaara could kill his sister without thinking, so she didn't really want to fight him. I'd rather get the title of Chunin in other ways. Gaara is just crazy. I feel sorry for the guy who will fight him in the final. Next fight. Shikamaru Nara vs Naruto Uzumaki. I invited the finalists to the arena. Hey 8, Naruto immediately jumped into the arena, but Naru had to wait. The fact is that this lazy guy fell asleep. 5 minutes later, he stood in front of Naruto. He didn't want to fight the blonde. Moreover, if the battle drags on, then Shikamaru will simply give up. He knew perfectly well that Uzumaki had a Sharingan, which meant big problems. Let's get started. After hearing the examiner's words, Naruto and Shikamaru stood up in racks. Naruto immediately created 80 clones, leaving some more chakra on Rasengan. Nara, seeing that Naruto intended to attack with the help of clones, just raised his hand. I give up. With a calm expression on his face, he left the arena, leaving the blonde in disbelief. Shikamaru. Lazy ass. Ino's voice boomed from the stands. You didn't even try to attack. The voice was getting louder. At these words, Shikamaru only sighed sadly and joined the audience. So, Naruto and Gaara Uzumaki made it to the finals. They will fight for the title of Chunin. An unhealthy smile appeared on Gaara's face. This smile gave Naruto goosebumps. Let's get started. After these words, the blonde created 4 shadow clones. 3 rushed into battle, and 1 stood behind with the real one. It was immediately obvious that the blue-eyed Jinchuriki had a plan. After getting rid of the 3 clones, Gaara decided to attack himself. He created a spear out of sand, which he threw at Naruto. Dodging this attack, Naruto, with the help of a clone, began to create a Rasengan. The blonde man rushed to Gaara with this technique. The Sand Ninja also created absolute protection from sand. It was not possible to touch Gaara with a Rasengan, but the son of the 4th could break through the defense. But there was a problem. His hand got stuck in the sand. Jinchuriki, without wasting time, began to squeeze the hand of the blonde Uzumaki harder. Clenching his hand into a fist, a shout was heard throughout the stadium. It was Naruto's scream. The part of the hand that got into the sand was crushed. His whole arm was covered in blood. This horrified most of the observers, and in particular Sakura and Ino. Naruto. Friends shouted in one voice. The owner of the Sharingan Shursui felt that he could lose consciousness at any moment. He didn't feel his hand at all. After Gaara used the technique, Naruto felt a sharp and severe pain in his right hand, and then everything suddenly stopped the same way. The blonde couldn't move his right hand, which means he won't be able to fold the seals either. Anyone would have already given up, but not Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde man looked at his opponent, who was boring him with an evil look, and smiled. This infuriated the Jinchuriki of the sand. He partially began to turn into Shikaku. The entire left side of Gaara's body was a miniature copy of a one-tailed demon. The 3rd Hokage was shocked when he saw this. Most of the people watching Shikaku were shaking in horror. Hayate was about to stop the fight when a red chakra started coming out of Naruto. Shikaku himself appeared from Gaara's back, created from the chakra. The spirit was mesmerized by such a picture. And after that, a fox appeared from Naruto's back, also created from chakra. Everyone was afraid to move. The demons will fight each other. Naruto rushed at Gaara with great speed. He did not have time to block the blow, which caused him to fly several meters away and demolished a tree. Gaara began to increase in size. He completely turned into a Shikaku. Naruto saw this and decided to act. The sand of Shikaku began to beat Naruto, who jumped onto Shikaku's giant arm and headed up with great speed. He wanted to hit Gaara, who was standing on Shikaku unconscious. In his subconscious, the fox told Naruto that it was possible to defeat Shikaku only by awakening Jinchuriki. Dodging all the attacks, Naruto jumped high and hit Gaara in the forehead. Shikaku began to crumble, and Gaara and Naruto slowly fell down. Naruto has used up too much chakra, and the fox chakra causes severe injuries, although it gives incredible strength. Naruto and Gaara fell to the ground and slowly got up, but the strength to rise completely failed. Two Jinchuriki were bleeding from their foreheads, and Naruto also had blood from his hand. Having accumulated all the remaining chakra in his leg, Naruto jumped to Gaara, hitting him in the face. The sand shinobi was passed out, and Uzumaki was on his feet, with a bloody hand and a broken face, while breathing heavily. Everyone was in shock. Naruto Uzumaki, Konoha's demon, the one whom all the villagers hated and considered a weakling, had just defeated Shikaku himself. This seemed surprising not only to the audience, but also to the Hokage, who had been watching the fight all this time. Naruto Uzumaki has won. 2 weeks later, Naruto was already a Chunin. With the help of the fox chakra, the hand healed very quickly. After winning Chunin's exam, he didn't see any of his friends. It was as if they were avoiding him after what they saw in the arena. Apart from Sasuke, none of his peers knew that the blonde was the Jinchuriki of the nine-tailed demon fox. Naruto did not despair, because he decided to leave the village with Jiraiya for 5 years. Only Kakashi and the third Hokage knew about it. Having collected his things, the blue-eyed boy headed for Konoha's gate. After the victory over Shikaku, many began to treat him differently. They greeted him and sometimes smiled at him. Jiraiya was waiting for him at the gate. He saw the boy and smiled at him. Naruto ran up to him and they talked about something for a few minutes, and then left the village. Ino was watching all this from around the corner. She was so ashamed that she didn't say goodbye to Naruto. She just looked sadly at the back of the departing blonde. 5 years have passed very quickly. All the peers have long been Chunins, and some are Jonins. A lot of interesting things have happened during this time. The 7th team was joined by Sai. He was instead of Naruto. Sai was from the root, so it was difficult for him to communicate with Sasuke and Sakura. But if he found a common language with Kunoichi after some time, then Uchiha did not even talk to him. The guy was very strange. Secretive, doesn't trust anyone. The 3rd Hokage retired. The 5th Hokage was one of his students. Tsunade was not very happy at first, but then she accepted her fate and continued to work hard. Also, the Jinchuriki of the seven-tailed foe were brought to Konoha. She became Konoha's shinobi, because the hidden waterfall was destroyed by Akatsuki, and Konoha's squad arrived at the scene and found Fu. During the attack of Deidara and Sasori, she hid in a shelter. It was an order from the head of the hidden waterfall village. Members of the criminal organization, deciding that the girl had escaped, left the ruins of the village. Now the leaf has 2 Jinchuriki. This fact increased the distrust of List. Some believe that List himself hired the Akatsukis to destroy the waterfall in order to get Fu. Also, 2 years after Uzumaki left the village, a war between stone and sand began. They wanted to involve Leaf in this war, but Konoha refused to help both sides, because Tsunade knew that if she helped one of the villages, then there would be very big problems with the other. Besides, she did not want to lose her ninjas in the war. Hinata and Niji became friends. If Hyuga hated his sister before, now he has become her teacher. Also, Hinata has grown up, has become more beautiful. Uchiha drew attention to this. Sasuke began to take care of Hinata and soon she fell in love with the last survivor of the great clan and they began dating. Hinata got pregnant and gave birth 9 months later. She gave birth to a boy with black hair and red eyes. The young family named him Kato. And what is most interesting is that Kato has a unique genome that combines the abilities of Sharingan and Byakugan. That is, in fact, these are new eyes. But it's too early to think about training. The boy is only 2 years old at the time of Naruto's return to the villages. Hinata married Sasuke. Hayashi was somewhat pleased. Uchiha is a legendary clan in which the great shinobi were born. And he was glad to know that Hinata's chosen one was Uchiha. Sakura has also found a loved one. She and Kiba have been dating for 4 years. Ino didn't differ from her. Ino's boyfriend was Niji. Tenten along with Lee. In general, everyone has found a soul mate. There is also a new team in the village. The team members are the same age as Naruto. The team consists of Yugo, Suigetsu and Karen, who is a relative of the blonde Jinchuriki. The captain of the team is Kabuto. He has never been for Orochimaru. As for Naruto, he has changed a lot. He became more cold-blooded and cruel. While traveling with Jiraiya, I found my relative. This relative turned out to be Uzumaki Nagato. He helped to awaken Naruto Rinnegan, although the blonde did not really learn how to use it. I learned one technique for each element. He could use Shin-Are Tensei, but the gap was 2 minutes. Naruto also awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan and took Shirsue's second eye for himself. All this happened during a stop in some village. Nagato and Jiraiya went to have a barbecue, remembering the past along the way. Naruto went to a small mountain near the village. There he trained his elemental techniques. Together with Uzumaki, his friend Nero went. Nero was a shinobi of hidden sand. During one of the battles with the stone, Nero's squad was defeated, and Nero himself was sent to the camp to report on this tragedy. But he was captured by the stone shinobi who wanted to kill him. They used the earth technique and stones flew at Nero. The stones hit the shinobi from the sand in the head. The bandage came off his head. The ninja of the stone were going to finish off Nero, but they were prevented from doing so by Naruto. When Nero woke up, he didn't remember anything. He lost his memory. Somehow remembering his name, he went on a journey with Naruto, simultaneously trying to restore his memory. Uzumaki and his companion were attacked by Itachi. Uchiha killed Nero in front of Naruto, which caused him to awaken Mangekyo. Itachi just grinned when he saw this. He knocked Naruto out with Tsukuyomi's help. And while the blonde was out, Shirsue inserted his second eye into him. Since then, for 3 months, at night Naruto remembered his friend from the sand. Naruto awakened Mangekyo, but no one explained to him how to use it. Naruto could now change his eyes. He could use 2 Sharingans at once, which gave him their full power, but he could use 1 Sharingan and 1 Rinnegan, which gave not the full power of both eyes, but the ability to combine the abilities of both eyes, and he could also use 2 Rinnegans. Also, the owner of Shirsue's eyes began to take a serious interest in swords. He remembered Zabuza's sword. During the journey, Naruto looked into the village of Hidden Mist and found the graves of Zabuza and Haku. There was a sword near the grave of the legendary swordsman Mist. After putting a lot of effort to pull out the sword, Naruto took it for himself. He explained to Nagato and Jiraiya that it was for the collection. A couple of years later, Naruto's deadline came to return home to Konoha. But he overexerted himself, which caused his eyes to hurt a lot. Naruto's red-haired relative bandaged Naruto's face with bandages. With the help of Rinnegan, Naruto could see through the blindfold. And now the blonde man is standing in front of the gate to Konoha. Will he be welcome? He doesn't know for sure. Nagato and Jiraiya left him, saying that they would also return to Konoha soon, but for now they have unfinished business. I'm back. Uzumaki smiled. Naruto first went to the Hokage residence. Going inside, he met a student of the third Hokage there. She gave him an interested look. There was silence in the office, but it was interrupted by Tsunade. Who are you? She asked the blonde a similar question. The blue-eyed Jinchuriki replied in a calm tone, I am Tsunade, one of the legendary Sanins, and also the fifth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf. The fifth? Is old Hiruzen dead? No. He is too old, so he resigned from the post of Hokage. I'm taking it now. And by the way, you haven't answered my question. I am Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox, owner of the eyes of Uchiha Shisui and Rinnegan. After these words, Tsunade couldn't say anything. She was in shock. But soon she pulled herself together and continued to question. Are you Jiraiya's disciple? Yes. I am a student of Jiraiya and Nagato. Nagato, this is my relative. He is also Uzumaki. But let's not talk about that, Tsunade-sama. I want to get an S-rank mission. You just returned to the village, and you already want a mission of this rank? Exactly. I'm sorry, but I can't let you go alone. You'll have to take a team of 3 with you, okay? Do you agree? Yes, and why should I be against it? If they don't get in the way, then let them come with me, okay? But you still can't disclose the fact that you're in the village. I'll explain why later, but in the meantime, you'll be wearing an Umbu uniform. Okay, I agree. So, there is only one S-rank mission. We need to find and destroy a bandit camp in the northeast of the village of Haiko. And also to catch their leader. And what's so difficult about it that the mission got the S rank? The bandits consist of Nukanins of rank A, and there are 20 people in the gang. In addition, the leader of the gang has the rank of S. It's not easy to kill him, and it's even harder to get him to Konoha alive. We need him to get information. The information concerns some kind of conspiracy against List. I see, and what about the team? A team of 3 people, you are the captain. The team includes Yamanako Ino, Uchiha Sasuke, and Fu. Get out at dawn. Who is Fu? This is the first I've heard of her, Jinchuriki of the Seven-Tailed. We got it after the destruction of the waterfall. Konoha destroyed the hidden waterfall? No, it was done by the Akatsukis. Our shinobi rushed to help, but it was too late. She went with them and voluntarily became Konoha's shinobi. Thank you for the information provided, and now let me leave. The blonde man said and bowed. Go, find Shizune on the way, this is my assistant. She'll give you a uniform. And how will I find her? A piglet is always running around her. Got it. Uzumaki said and left the office. After finding Shizune, he got a uniform. After that, he went home and immediately went to bed. He was very tired. It was only day, and Naruto was already asleep. He woke up only the next morning and, putting on his uniform, immediately headed for the gate. His team was already waiting for him there. Everyone has changed a lot. His son and wife were standing next to Sasuke. Sasuke was smiling, which he didn't do often in public. Uchiha hugged Kato, and Hinata looked at it with emotion. Ino was standing on the side and chatting about something with her boyfriend Niji. She became very beautiful. Naruto literally couldn't take his eyes off her, but he did it anyway to examine the last member of the team. Fu was standing all alone. Uzumaki understood her perfectly. Due to the fact that she is a Jinchuriki, no one wants to be friends and talk to her. Fu was very pretty. She has orange eyes and rather short green hair, in which she wore a hairpin to match her eyes. Her clothes consist of white long armbands, a short t-shirt, an apron-like skirt, black mesh fabric on her legs and body. The bandage is worn on the arm. Naruto approached his team. When they saw him, they did not betray anyone to this, because they did not know that he was their commander. Hinata, Kato, and Niji left. Naruto, realizing that they did not know that their captain was standing opposite, spoke first. "Hello, I am your captain for this mission. I didn't know that our captain was Umbu." Sasuke grinned, "Get used to it. So let's move out." Naruto commanded, "Wait, maybe we'll get acquainted. I decided to find out more about the Captain Ino. It's not necessary. I know all about you, but we don't know anything about you. At least tell me your name." Fu intervened. Naruto could not give an answer to this question. He is not allowed to give his name, because Tsunade forbade him. Therefore, he decided to take a pseudonym, remembering that Umbu may have fake names. "Call me a fox." Nine-tailed Jinchuriki replied. Naruto's response caused some surprise among the team members. Kunoichi had a puzzled look, but Sasuke had an interested look. It was obvious that he suspected something. "Come on, we'd better not waste any time," Naruto said and headed towards the village of Haiko. The others followed him. It was 2 days' journey to the village of Haiko. Naruto and his team have already covered half of the way. The sun was already setting and the fox ordered the tents to be set up. Having set up the tents, everyone dispersed to where Ino decided to read the scrolls before going to bed. Fu was thinking about something while sitting in front of the fire. The only one who couldn't sit still was Sasuke. He was trying to figure out why their leader was familiar to him. "It feels like I know him, but I can't remember. Damn, he never takes off his mask. He hasn't said his name yet. What kind of nickname is that? Fox," thought Uchiha, sorting out his things. Ino, looking up from the scrolls, looked in the direction of the team commander. He reminded her of someone. But who? Ino was distracted from his thoughts by Fu's voice. "Did you like it?" Jinchuriki asked with a smirk on her face. "KT something?" Yamanaka asked in a trembling voice. "Our commander? You have good taste. First Niji, then this fox." Restraining laughter, mocked the girl. "Fu, what are you doing? What makes you think that? You're just staring at him like that." "Who? Me? I'm not staring at anyone." The girl got angry and turned away from the green-haired Kunoichi. A ringing laugh rang out behind the blonde. Fu couldn't help herself. Meanwhile, Naruto approached the girls. Sasuke was watching him, trying to remember where he had seen him. He sat down by the fire in silence. Fu abruptly stopped laughing and turned her attention to Umbu. "Lise, why are you silent?" Jinchuriki asked the seven-tailed one. "I have nothing to tell you." Umbu replied calmly, continuing to look at the flames of the fire. "Why is that? Tell us about yourself, or at least tell us your real name." The blonde turned to Uzumaki. Naruto remembered that Tsunade forbade him to tell about his return for a reason unknown to him. He wanted to tell them so much, but he didn't throw his words to the wind. Since he said that he would not disclose his identity, then so be it. Although the reason for this was very interesting to him. Meanwhile, in Konoha, Jiraiya and Nagato returned to the Hidden Leaf. Uzumaki went to the hotel to rent a room, and Sannin decided to visit the Hokage. Tsunade was filling out the paperwork when suddenly someone distracted her. "Tsunade, it's good to see you." Toad Sannin began the conversation calmly. "Jiraiya? Oddly enough, I'm glad to see you too. As you can see, I'm Hokage now. I'm happy for you. Have you seen Naruto yet?" "Yes. I gave him an S-rank mission." "To be honest, I'm not surprised. He was always eager to fight. I gave him a command and an Umbu uniform." "Is he Umbu now?" "No. I gave him a uniform, just for the sake of maintaining the status of incognito in the village." "Why would he do that?" "The elders decided to extract Biju from him." Tsunade whispered sadly, hanging her head. "What?" Jiraiya was in shock. "But how? Why? For what?" "Calm down you." Hokage raised her voice. "I'll tell you everything now. You know about the Akatsuki organization, right?" "Yes. While we were traveling, they attacked Naruto and wanted to capture him, but they couldn't. Unfortunately, during the fight, Naruto's friend died, after which he had a Rinnegan." I see. I was just about to ask how he got it. What about Shirsui's second eye? I thought I heard that he only has one eye. I don't know about that. When I found Naruto, he had both Shirsui Sharingans." "Okay, let's not change the subject. So, what about the extraction?" "Oh, yes. In general, this organization needs Biju. 2 Jinchuriki have already been captured. 5-tailed and 3-tailed died after the extraction of the beast. The elders want to put the 9 tails in Danzo." "What? Why would he do that?" "They think that Danzo has more experience, and he is stronger than Naruto." "Nonsense. Naruto has already surpassed me in Nagato." "You don't prove it to me, but to the elders. I don't want to give them Naruto, so I sent him on a mission as soon as he returned. I don't want him to die, and he's already suffered a lot. Damn it. Problem after problem. I don't know which is better anymore. Akatsukis or elders. Both want to extract a fox from Naruto. What about the Akatsuki? Is there any information about its representatives?" "There is. Their grouping is divided into subgroups." Tsunade handed Jiraiya a list: artists, Deidara and Sasori; snake and shark, Orochimaru and Kisame; immortals, Kakuzu and Haiden. That was the end of the list. "Is that all?" Jiraiya was surprised. "No, we just don't know about the others. Although no, Itachi is still there, but it is not known which subgroup he belongs to." "I see. You better keep an eye on Naruto there." "Don't worry. He'll be fine." Sannin smiled. "A fox? What are you thinking about?" I distracted the blonde Yamanaka from his thoughts. "Yes, there's nothing to talk about. You haven't answered our question." Fu said with a grin on her face. "I'm sorry, I can't tell you this. You don't have to hide your identity. I know who you are." Sasuke came up to the fire. "Haven't seen you for a long time on." Sasuke's words were interrupted by an explosion in the forest. Leaf's shinobi quickly got to their feet and stood in fighting positions, stand back to back. Naruto commanded. .3 shinobi jumped out of the forest. Everyone had different projectors. One has a fog projector, another has sand, and the third has a stone. The projectors were crossed out, which confirmed that these people were Nukanins. Naruto raised his hand and gestured to his team to stay put. Uzumaki rushed into battle. Having created 2 clones, he began to form a chakra in his hand. His clones did the same. Having created a Rasengan, Naruto hit one of the Nukanins with it. He couldn't dodge and fell under the equipment, flew 4 meters away. The second clone ran up to the team. "Go to the forest and see what happened there," said the clone, and immediately disappeared. "Where did I see this technique?" thought Ino, looking at how the fox knocked out one of the Nukanins. There are 2 left. One clearly stood out against the background of the second. He looked a lot more intimidating than his partner. Naruto decided to continue the fight, taking out a kunai from his pouch. He soaked it with chakra. One of the bandits stood still and ordered the other to deal with Naruto. To this, the Nuke-nin from the stone only nodded and took out his katana-like sword. After folding the seals, Nuke-nin soaked his katana with lightning. It was already dangerous. He quickly turned around Naruto and swung for a blow. His target was the blonde man's head. Naruto dodged, but the shinobi of the stone increased the blade of the blade with lightning. The sword did not touch Jinchuriki's face, but it cut through the mask. She was holding on to the blonde guy's face for a long time, but the mask did not last long and, breaking, fell from the fox's face. The Nukenins looked at Naruto's face, then froze. The blonde man heard the nervous whisper of one of them, "Yellow Lightning, Uzumaki," taking advantage of the enemy's confusion, hit one of the bandits with a chakra-soaked kunai, while piercing him through. Snatching the sword from his hands, the son of the fourth Hokage bounced off the dead shinobi stone. There was one left. Looking at Naruto's face, the bandit began to come to his senses. Apparently they didn't know that Namake's Minato had been dead for a long time. Naruto put the kunai in his pouch and started forming the Rasengan again. Seeing this, the last robber wanted to retreat. This was evidenced by the fact that he began to slowly but surely move back. The fox decided not to kill the enemy and dispersed the Rasengan. He activated the Sharingan. And he plunged his opponent into Genjutsu. He fell to the ground. Uzumaki approached and tied up his unconscious enemy. The owner of Shirsue's eyes decided to interrogate Nuke-nin. As soon as he wakes up, out of the corner of his eye, the blonde man noticed his team heading towards him to tell him the information they had received. Forgetting that the mask was destroyed, Naruto hurried to meet his friends. What was their surprise when they saw the fox's face on Naruto. "Is it really you?" the blonde asked with bulging eyes. Sasuke just grinned. Fu stood in disbelief, realizing that she was the only one who did not know this person, but Ino was shocked. "Yes, it's me." The blonde man answered in a calm voice, "Naruto." Fu asked in surprise. "Ino, who is he?" Still arriving in shock, the blonde couldn't answer. Before her stood the object of her adoration. A loyal friend and the first serious love. "He's changed a lot." In front of her was no longer the same 12-year-old boy, but a handsome and strong guy. The facial features haven't changed much. All also have 3 stripes on the cheeks. Sky blue eyes. But here's the hair. Naruto's hair became a little longer, which made him look more like Minato. The cubes of the press were visible to the naked eye. Naruto has matured a lot. He became more cold-blooded, and after what happened to his friend from the sand, he just shut himself in. No matter how hard Nagato and Jiraiya tried to bring back the old merry man, they did not succeed. Naruto's eyes, although blue in color, have changed a lot. The pupil was now vertical and narrow. The same as during the nine-tailed regime. Ino looked at the fox's Jinchuriki for about 2 minutes, after which she decided to speak, but Sasuke beat her to it. "Are you already Umbu?" "Not yet. Tsunade-sama gave me this form so that no one would know that I had returned." The fox replied, "Why?" Yamanaka finally spoke up, "I don't know myself, but she promised to explain after we get back to the village." Naruto smiled. The smile on the face of Kushina's son appeared often, but not like before. He wasn't so chatty anymore. The journey changed him. "Why didn't you warn me?" the blonde screamed, which caused Uzumaki to be surprised. "I'm sorry, but I couldn't disobey the Hokage's orders." Naruto replied, "Before, no one could stop you if you wanted something." Lowering her tone, the girl said, "So." "Stop, stop. Who is it?" "I decided to get an answer. Ugh, let's do it later. I asked you not to interfere in the conversation of the fair-haired, Sasuke, eh?" The green-haired kunoichi sighed. Naruto answered, "Do you love me?" Ino asked in a trembling and uncertain voice. "No." Jinchuriki answered without hesitation. The answer shocked the girl. She had known for a long time that Naruto was breathing unevenly towards her. At first she thought he was deliberately angering her, but the answer was too quick and confident. As if Naruto had never loved her. "I thought," Yamanaka wanted to start, but she was interrupted by a student of Jirai. "I've been thinking about a lot of things too." "But why? Why what? Why don't you love me? You're like a little girl." "Why should I love you?" Naruto asked a logical question, "But you used to. What was, is gone." Jinchuriki interrupted the blonde again. "Especially since you have Niji.to this." Ino only said something to herself and abruptly turned away, headed for the tents, completely oblivious that 2 corpses and 1 bound shinobi were lying next to her. But it attracted Sasuke. "Well done, and why did you leave this one alive?" Uchiha asked. "Which one of us is dumber?" Naruto thought, looking at Sasuke. Usually Uchiha understood everything on the fly, but now he asks such a stupid question. Seeing Naruto's expression, Sasuke grinned. "Relax. I was joking." A smile appeared on Sasuke's face. "Phew. And I thought you were replaced." The son of the 4th Hokage smiled in response. Sasuke dragged the bound criminal to a tree to tie him to a tree, and then you never know what. "Naruto-kun, can you tell us about yourself?" I came up to Naruto. Turned to the Jinchuriki of the 7-tailed fox. "Yeah, come on." Naruto took Fu by the hand and led him to the fire. The girl blushed from this. "Damn, he's cute. His hand is so warm." Fu mused until they came to the fire. "Have a seat." "So, what do you want to know about me?" "That's it. Literally everything." The girl smiled. "Well, I can't tell you everything today, but I'll tell you all the main things from my life." "Hurrah!" Fu exclaimed, which caused a terrified Ino to run out of the tent. Seeing that everything was in order, the blonde looked at her partner angrily and retired to bed. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am 18 years old. There are no hobbies, well, except for training. The dream is to become the strongest shinobi in the village." "You mean Hokage?" "No, I don't want to be Hokage. Once I had this dream, but over time I realized that being a Hokage is terribly boring. It's not my thing to sit behind papers all the time." "I see," I'll continue. "I lived alone until I was 6 years old, then the Uchi clan took me in. I lived there for 2 years with the Sasuke family, after which Sasuke's brother slaughtered the entire clan. He left Sasuke and me alive. He also implanted 1 Sharingan in me. And more recently, he implanted a second one. In addition to Sharingan, I have Rinnegan. Rank Chunin. I got it on the Chunin exam. I defeated Gaara from the sand in the final. He is a 1-tailed Jinchuriki. By the way, I am also." Naruto interrupted Fu. Who was there?" "Gaara was Jinchuriki Shikaku. Now Gaara is dead. Shikaku is now in some guy named Lars. It's made of stone. During the war, Gaara captured a stone, which Biju extracted from it. I didn't know. By the way, have you made friends with your Biju? And how did you know that I am also a Jinchuriki?" "I found out from Tsunade-sama. And again. Let's go for you." "Okay. As for the question, yes, I have been friends with Chomei for a long time." "That's good, but I still can't." "What can't you do?" Fu's pupils have enlarged. It seems she understood, but decided to ask for confidence, and so here. "I didn't finish. I am the Jinchuriki of the 9-tailed demon fox. So I think that you and I will quickly find a common language." That is, you are sure that we will become friends?" It's just that I've never had a real friend. Even here in Konoha, I'm sure. Besides, I don't understand those crazy people who don't want to be with a pretty girl like you." From these words, the green-haired woman blushed. Unexpectedly, for herself, the girl approached the blonde and gently kissed him on the lips. What pleased me was that Naruto responded to her kiss. Naruto suddenly stopped and put his finger on Fu's lips. "This is not the place for our kisses." I remembered Sakura's phrase, Naruto, flashback. At this time, boys were running past. They knocked Sakura down, and she fell on the blonde. Without hesitation, she kissed him on the lips. She didn't know why. "It looks like I've fallen in love," Sakura thought, continuing the kiss. Naruto, without hesitation, answered it. And Naruto was happy. "It looks like I've found my love," the blonde mused, continuing to kiss his beloved. The kiss was abruptly interrupted. Sakura whispered softly in his ear, "Naruto, this is not the place for our kisses. Come to my house." The blonde only nodded contentedly, making it clear that he was willing to go anywhere now, as long as he was with her. The end of the flashback, Naruto led the girl to the tent. Once inside, he greedily bit into her lips. Fu wrapped her arms around his neck. Abruptly interrupting the kiss, she smiled and pushed him onto the sleeping bag, after which she sat on top of the blonde. After plugging the guy's mouth with a kiss again, Kunoichi began to pull off his umbu uniform. Tearing herself away from Uzumaki's lips, the girl looked at his body with admiration. 8 cubes of the press on the body of the blonde excited the girl more and more. Naruto decided to keep up with the girl and began to take off her clothes. Suddenly she giggled. "It tickles." The only thing the girl could say before she stayed in her bra and panties. She felt something begin to rest against her stomach. Glancing at Naruto's pants, the girl with shiny and at the same time cunning eyes began to pull off the blonde pants. Left without pants, Naruto abruptly turned over. The girl fell next to her, and Naruto sat on her. Now he was on top. He quickly took off her bra and threw it aside. Clinging to her lips, he began to stroke her bulges. Alluring, albeit small breasts were not left without attention. The blonde kissed the cleavage between the bulges of the girl. Fu moaned softly. He began to kiss her breasts, gradually rising higher and higher. He kissed her neck, shoulders, gradually getting to the cherished lips. Interrupting Kunoichi's moans with a kiss, Naruto began caressing the girl's breasts with one hand, and stroked her stomach with the other, going lower and lower. When he got to the coveted place, the blonde slowly began to pull off the girl's panties. Fu, realizing Uzumaki's intentions, lifted her hips, making it easier for the owner of Shirsue's eyes to work. The owner of the Rinnegan began massaging the girl's clitoris. Fu started moaning. Naruto took off his underpants and was already preparing to give the girl pleasure, when he suddenly stopped and looked into her eyes and asked, "Are you sure that's what you want?" Between the groans, the cherished "yes" sounded and Naruto slowly entered her. Fu couldn't stand it this time and moaned loudly. The girl wrapped her legs around him, thereby allowing him to accelerate. Naruto took this chance and accelerated the pace. Naruto was already ready to come, as well as Fu. And here are the last tremors and the hot liquid fills the girl. She smiled at him and gently, but at the same time passionately, kissed him on the lips. Naruto fell near Fu. They kissed like that for a few more minutes, after which they fell asleep. Meanwhile, an explosion was heard in Konoha. Shizune flew into the Hokage's office. "Tsunade-sama. The village was attacked." From these words, the 5th Hokage flew up from her chair and headed for the roof of the building. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Sarutobi Asuma were already standing there. "Tsunade. The old man shouted to the blonde. It was the sand that attacked us. He thinks we're helping the stone. Shit. Tsunade expressed herself, peering into the epicenters of the explosion. Shinobi were fighting on the roofs of houses. Hiruzen nodded to Asuma and he rushed to help his comrades. What does Kazekage really think of himself? After the death of his son, he became unbalanced. This is bad. Suddenly there was an explosion on the Hokage tower. The smoke cleared and Tsunade stood on the tower with the third Hokage, and the fourth Kazekage stood opposite them. The smoke cleared and 3 people appeared on the Hokage towers. One of which was the Sand Kage. He was standing in front of the third and fifth Hokage. Kazekage, are you completely crazy? What are you doing? Tsunade shouted, to which Gaara's father only grinned. Without saying a word, he used the sand that was in the pumpkin behind him. The sand rushed towards Sannin, taking the form of a spear, but the Kazekage technique was interrupted by Sarutobi Hiruzen with the help of an earthen wall. Using the summoning technique, the third summoned the Monkey King Enma. Enma, seeing the situation, immediately turned into a fighting staff. Hiruzen took the staff and stood in a fighting stance. Excellent catch, 2 birds with 1 stone. The Sand Kage grinned. Meanwhile, Hinata was sleeping on the bed, hugging Kato. The boy was sleeping soundly, so he did not hear the explosion that thundered on the street. But Hinata heard him. Uchiha, carefully, trying not to wake up her son, got up to see what was happening on the street. As soon as she went to the window, there was another explosion. The epicenter of the explosion was the windows of the house where the Uchiha family lived. Hinata flew away from the window, flying into the wall. She started coughing up blood as soon as she heard her son's voice, "Mom." Kato shouted. 2 Sand Shinobi broke into Sasuke's house. Taking out a kunai, one of them approached Hinata to finish her off, and the other attacked Kato. Hinata tried to get up with the last of her strength, but she couldn't do it. She noticed that the distance between her and the killer was getting smaller and smaller. That was the end. A shinobi from the sand approached Hinata and pierced her with a kunai. After spitting out blood on her killer, Hinata began to feel weak in her body. "You bastard!" Hit Hinata ninja, splattered with blood. Sasuke's wife fell to the floor, closing her eyes. The last thing she heard was the boy's cry, "Mom." After that, there was no life left her. Meanwhile, the criminals knocked out Sasuke's son and, having tied him up, stuffed him into a bag. Listen, why do we need this kid in general? Still not understanding the meaning of his actions, one of Suna's shinobi asked, "Fool. This boy has a unique genome. He is a kind of mixture of Sharingan and Byakugan." The second one explained and went to the wall destroyed by the explosion on the Hokage tower. "Bastard." Tsunade cursed, getting into a fight with Kazekage. The fifth rushed at the Kazekage and, having accumulated the chakra in her hand, hit him. But he put up a sand shield. From the impact of Tsunade, it cracked badly and crumbled a couple of seconds after the impact. Sannin decided not to waste time and finish off the enemy. Swinging her other hand, she stopped abruptly. Something was holding her. Looking down, she noticed that the sand that had crumbled after the destruction of the shield was enveloping her legs. "Do not let her move." Underestimating the enemy, Tsunade. The ruler of Suna smiled maliciously. "Tsunade, hold on." A voice was heard, the source of which was behind the fifth Hokage. Hiruzen jumped into the air and threw 3 shurikens at the enemy. Then, folding the seal, he increased the number of flying shurikens to 50. He decided not to stop there. He folded the seals and covered the shurikens with water chakra. His plan was very good. Kage decided that such an attack could not defeat him and used the shield again. But the shurikens, having hit the shield, got stuck in it. And since they were soaked with water chakra, the sand got wet. Hiruzen took advantage of this. He threw the staff at Kagekage. During the flight, the staff turned back into Enma. The Monkey King struck a blow on the face of the ruler of Suna. Gaara's father flew several meters away, but managed to slow down using sand. It was obvious from his face that he was not happy with the outcome of the fight. So he decided to use Saken, gold dust. Saken was several times harder and heavier than ordinary sand, but before he could use it, 2 sand shinobi landed on the tower. It was Temari and Kankuro. Father, our troops have completed their tasks. We can retreat. Kankuro reported, I see. Retreat. Commanded the Sand Kage. What do you mean you have completed the task? What kind of task? Tsunade shouted, but there was no response. Kage and his children disappeared into thin air with the help of Saken, that bastard. Hokage couldn't stand it, on one of the streets. Nagato-san, help me get the kids out, I'll cover you. Niji shouted, fighting the shinobi from Suna. Understood, Niji-kun. Niji continued the fight. He fought Pakura. This girl possessed the Kekii Genkai Shikuten. He allows her to give her chakra a hot property and create a heat that deprives the victims of water and dries them up. Niji used the vortex to fend off Pakura's techniques, but he still fell under her ninjutsu. The water in Niji's body began to evaporate. A little more and he will become a mummy. He realized this with the help of Byakugan. While Pakura was distracted, he decided to strike the final blow. Niji wanted to take her to the grave with him. 64 Heaven Strikes. Hyuga shouted and used his clan technique on the shinobi from Suna. The last blow, he struck her on the throat. She spat blood on his hand. There was less and less water in Niji's body. He felt like he was dying. And so, the last breath and the life in his eyes went out. He fell on the dead Pakura. The sand shinobi left Konoha. The leaf has suffered a lot during this day. It was a terrible night for them. Tsunade wrote a letter to the stone, in which it was said that Konoha was entering a war with sand and would help the stone. The next morning at the camp, Fu woke up with the first rays of the sun. She thought Naruto was still asleep, but the blonde guy beat her to it. Good morning, Fu. The blonde smiled, hugging Fu to himself. Naruto. What I was yesterday. Well, I kind of. The girl tried to find the right phrase. You didn't like it? Uzumaki said with a bit of resentment. No, everything was fine. The girl whispered, blushing. Well. In short. Suddenly the girl screamed. Naruto, it turns out we're dating now? With the hope of a positive answer, the girl asked, it turns out that's so. The blue-eyed Jinchuriki smiled. Come on, don't tell anyone yet. And in general, it's better not to think about it until we get back to the village. You're right. The girl answered sadly. After that, Naruto kissed her on the lips and began to dress. Fu lay down for a few more minutes, and then followed Uzumaki's example and began to get dressed. A couple of days later they were returning to Konoha. Someone with impatience. For example, Fu and Sasuke. Uchiha couldn't wait to meet her family, and Fu wanted to go on a date with Naruto. So they quickened their pace, leaving Ino and Naruto behind. Ino decided to speak, knowing that Sasuke and Fu would not hear them. Naruto, did you sleep with Fu last night? You could say that. Was there something between you? What difference does it make to you? Just answer it. Ino raised her voice, but stopped in time, realizing that those ahead of her could hear her. I just feel sorry for her and wanted her to find a boyfriend. Ino justified herself. Well, then you can be happy for her. We're dating her. The blonde man smiled and quickened his pace, leaving the girl in thought. A tear rolled down Ino's cheek. But she tried to control herself and, wiping away a tear, hurried to the others. They almost came to Konoha. Everyone was in a good mood until they came to the village. What they saw shocked them. The next day there was a funeral. Photos of all those who died on the day of Suna's attack on Konoha. Sasuke was sitting on his knees in front of Hinata's photo, blaming himself for not being able to save. I couldn't protect her and my son. He thought it was his fault. A tear rolled down Sasuke's cheek. Ino sobbed, praying to God that it was just a terrible dream. As soon as she found out that Neji was dead, she immediately lost consciousness. That day, all Konoha was at the funeral. Just like when the fox attacked Konoha, Naruto wasn't at the funeral. He knew that it was impossible to betray that he was in the village. He warned Fu, Ino and Sasuke to keep quiet. Jiraiya told Naruto about Danzo's plans. Uzumaki watched the funeral from a hill near Konoha. At the sight of Danzo, who came out with a touching speech about the dead, Naruto's blood boiled. He wanted to throw himself at him. Kill, tear, for betrayal. In his life, Naruto disliked traitors the most. After standing for a little more time, Uzumaki left. Meanwhile, Jiraiya-sama, why didn't Naruto-kun come? Nagato asked. I'll tell you later, sometime. Sannin croaked. Fu came up to Ino. Ino, are you okay? What? How can I be okay? He's dead. Do you understand? He's gone. The blonde screamed. The green-haired woman realized that it was better to leave Yamanaka alone now. Sasuke was openly crying. He can't forgive himself for losing his family. I've lost my family twice. And it's my fault. I had to get stronger. Oh, what am I? As he was a weakling, so he remained. Hinata, I will find those who took your life and make them suffer. Hatred and anger were read in Sasuke's eyes. Naruto was heading towards the village of sand. He didn't care about anything. All he wanted right now was to avenge his friends. Uzumaki's pupils turned red. Fangs and claws have grown. He was incredibly angry right now, but that didn't stop him from knowing perfectly well that he couldn't destroy the sand alone. Feelings were mixed. He didn't know what he was feeling right now. Despair, rage, pain, or hatred. From an overabundance of feelings, the blonde suddenly collapsed to his knees. He covered his eyes with his hands. A loud scream pierced the forest. Naruto screamed from the incredible pain in his eyes. What the hell is going on? Jinchuriki tried to drown out the pain. As abruptly as it started, the pain disappeared. Uzumaki removed his hands from his face. Looking at his hands, he was horrified. They were all covered in blood. Naruto jumped up and ran wherever he looked. And so he ran until he ran into a small lake. Looking at his reflection, the pupils of the owner of the Rinnegan widened greatly. My eyes. What's wrong with them? Peering into the reflection, the blonde pondered. Sasori-san, are you sure that the nine-tailed Jinchuriki has returned to Konoha? My spy from Konoha confirmed this. How many spies do you have? A lot. The members of Akatsuki were already at the border between the sheet and the sound, when one of them stopped. What's the matter, Sasori-san? Deidara, I feel the fox's chakra very close. So he is somewhere nearby? It turns out that's so. The beast is running at the hunter. The blonde man grinned. Naruto continued walking in a direction unknown to him. He didn't know what he was doing. He kept walking until he came to a small clearing. Uzumaki began to examine him until his gaze stopped at the mysterious figures in hats. Who are you? Keeper Biju dispelled the silence. Sasori-san, is that him? I didn't pay attention to Daidar's question. Yes. The puppet master answered shortly, hey. Maybe you will stop ignoring me? A blue-eyed blonde man tried to attract attention to himself. Of course we will stop, dear Jinchuriki. Daidara's voice exasperated Uzumaki. Naruto wanted to say something, but Sasori interrupted him. Uzumaki, Naruto, are you coming with us voluntarily or will we have to accept the force? This question put the blonde Jinchuriki in a stupor. Do you want to fight? So attack. The blonde man shouted and got into a fighting stance. Sasori wanted to say something to his partner, but saw how he went on the attack. Well, hold on. Deidara muttered. The blonde took clay from the pouch and began to chew it, which confused Uzumaki. Deidara created a clay dragon and jumped on it. Then he repeated his actions. He reached into his pouch and took out the clay. Naruto folded the seal and 2 copies of it appeared next to him. This time Naruto decided to use both types of eyes. In the left eye, the blonde was Rinnegan, and in the right Sharingan. Sasori noticed this and realized that the opponent was not simple, but his inexperienced partner did not suspect anything. A young member of Akatsuki created several clay spiders. They jumped off the dragon and headed towards Naruto. One of the Uzumaki clones folded the seals and a strong wind blew from his mouth, throwing the spiders back. The clay spiders flew away for a decent distance, then exploded. The blonde's dragon began to gain altitude. Uzumaki decided to make a retaliatory move. His clones ran up to him and began to form a chakra in the hand of the original. One of them formed the wind chakra, and the other rotated the chakra, giving it a spherical appearance, wind style. Vortex Shuriken. Naruto shouted and raised his hand with a rotating white shuriken. Naruto's technique made an unpleasant, ear-cutting sound. Deidara, if you don't dodge this attack, then you're dead. The puppet master warned his partner. Deidara looked at Naruto's technique, then at Sasori. Taking advantage of the enemy's confusion, Naruto threw his technique at him. The vortex shuriken reached the bomber and an explosion thundered. Clay began to fall to the ground. After a couple of seconds, something began to form out of it. A minute later, Deidara was standing on the ground alive. He reached into the pouch, then quickly stretched out his hands to Naruto. There were mouths on both palms. They were chewing clay. After chewing on the bomber's weapon, they spat it out. 5 birds flew out of their mouths. Naruto's clones rushed forward to shield him from the birds. But it was not there. The birds split up and flew to the original from different directions. Naruto had no choice but to use the Rinnegan technique. He stretched out his hand and shouted, Shinra Tensei. The birds crashed into an invisible barrier and exploded. Several of them hooked Naruto clones, and they exploded and disappeared. Let's move on to Plan B. The blonde grinned and began chewing clay. C3. A huge dragon rushed towards Naruto. Shit, thought Naruto and covered Rinnegan with his hand. Naruto used Kamui and teleported behind Deidara with a Rasengan in his hand. Rasengan. The blonde man shouted, after which he hit the opponent's technique in the back. Description of Kamui. Kamui can act in different ways. Depending on the eye using it, left eye with its help, the owner can attack from a distance, teleporting objects to another dimension. To do this, he first creates a barrier around the target, the size and location of which he chooses himself. Then the space inside the barrier is distorted and everything in it is teleported to another dimension. The technique is very strong, as it is impossible to avoid the barrier. If you put enough chakras into this technique, you can even teleport a person. It seems impossible to get out of the dimension into which the teleported objects fall, but there is air and gravity in it. In addition, it consists of many blocks, right? The owner is able to teleport himself and everything he touches to another dimension. To gain a kind of immateriality, he can teleport parts of his body. When the owner of the eye teleports himself, a vortex appears, the center of which is the Sharingan. Thus, he passes into another dimension, which he leaves on the same principle in order to travel long distances in a short time. During this jump, Obito's chakra becomes untraceable, while he himself can sense people and teleport to them, regardless of their location. The eye also serves as the center of the vortex, which tightens the target until the teleportation is completed. The blonde flew a few meters away, and then fell to the ground, sliding on it. Damn it. Do I have to fight you myself? Sasori said calmly. Naruto turned to his future opponent. Deidara got up and intended to continue the fight, as Sasori stopped him. Deidara, let's work together. The battle with the owner of Sharingan and Rinnegan is very difficult, and besides, he is a Jinchuriki, understood, Sasori-san. The bomber agreed. The battle has just begun. Akatsuki Cave. During Naruto's fight with Deidara and Sasori, Kisame, we already have 3 swords, there are 4 more left. Do you know where they can be found? Akatsuki's red-haired member asked. I heard that Jinchuriki Nine-Tailed has the sword of Zabuza. There is also another sword at the stone. I have no information about the others. The swordsman replied, the fact that the swords of stone and leaf are very bad. According to the latest data, they have united, which means that one of the villages will help the other. But on the other hand, there are advantages to this. For example, you can grab 3 Jinchuriki. The 5-tailed and 3-tailed have already been captured, but this is not enough. We need to find all 7 swords of the legendary Mist Swordsman to find the 10-tail stone. And what kind of stone is this? Haydn asked. The stone of the 10-tail is needed for its complete revival. If you use this stone to resurrect the 10-tailed, then you can make him immortal. It can't even be sealed, and whoever used the stone has full control of Jubi. The redhead explained. You can create a stone only with the help of swords. All the swords must be thrown into the crater of the Shanza volcano. According to legend, this volcano appeared during the battle of Jubi and Rikudo Sennin. Bastard! Naruto growled and rushed at the puppet master. Sasori took out a scroll from his pouch, and the next moment the blow of the blonde was interrupted by the doll. Uzumaki's pupils widened in surprise. He had never fought with puppeteers before. Sasori blocked himself and the doll with black sand. What the fuck? The blonde man was surprised. Sasori remained silent and, making some movement with his hands, pushed the Jinchuriki away with sand for several meters. Deidara took advantage of the moment and attacked Uzumaki from behind. The blonde created 3 clay birds. The birds crashed into Naruto's back and exploded, thereby throwing Uzumaki back to Sasori. Akasuna began to form a huge drill from black sand with the help of his puppet to finish off the Jinchuriki. The drill was already formed, when suddenly a purple lightning struck the doll and it exploded. Before Sasori's eyes, his doll was destroyed. The puppet master wanted to do something, but he didn't have time. A blonde-haired shinobi from the cloud appeared in front of him and stabbed Sasori in the heart. Akasuna noticed that the ninja's hand was covered with lightning, which was different from the one that hit his doll, which means that there were 2 or more attackers. Akatsuki's clothes on Sasori's back were torn. A vessel flew out of the back of the sand renegade. But the cloud shinobi did not stop there and, jumping over Sasori's body, took out a sword and pierced the vessel. After that, Akasuna fell to the ground. -1. Said the man standing behind Deidara. The young member of the Akast turned and saw the one-tailed Jinchuriki. Deidara wanted to ask something, but Jinchuriki did not let him do it and pierced Deidara's body with purple lightning. The bomber smiled and began to flow with clay. A clay clone? The Shikaku bearer was surprised. Exactly. Confirmed the guesses of Jinchuriki Deidara. The fight is getting kind of unfair. So I'll see you later. The blond man said in a calm voice, looking at the corpse of his partner. Deidara created a clay dragon and flew away on it. Naruto woke up in some cave. Looking around, he noticed backpacks and several swords. One of them was covered in blood. Are you awake yet? A voice came from behind Uzumaki. Naruto jumped up and got ready to fight. Calm down, have we come to help you? What? Help? The blond man was surprised, coming out of the fighting stance. Exactly. It was we who pulled you out of Akatsuki's hands. Thank you. And who are you in general? We are also Jinchuriki. Two blond men came out of the shadows. Naruto examined them. I'm Lars, and this is B. He pointed to the silent Jinchuriki. Nice to meet you. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto introduced himself. We know. We have a serious conversation with you. Meanwhile in Konoha, Sasuke was packing his things when Hanabi suddenly came into his room. Uchiha turned around and, seeing the girl, grinned. Sasuke, I'm sorry. I understand you. Hinata was my sister. You don't understand a damn thing. Sasuke shouted that it was the first time Hanabi had seen Sasuke like this. And few people saw Sasuke's feelings except Naruto, who was like a brother to him. This is the second time I've lost my family. Do you understand? Or don't you have enough brains? Sasuke shouted harder and harder. Don't insult me. If you've lost your family, it's entirely your fault. You're right. Sasuke suddenly began calmly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Hyuga apologized, realizing that she had said something stupid. Sasuke was about to say something to her when he suddenly felt her warm breath at his neck. Sasuke, to be honest, I've always liked you. Uchiha turned to Hanabi and looked into her eyes. What does she want? Mused Sasuke. Uchiha was smart and grasped everything on the fly, but sometimes he was frankly stupid. Nahabi smiled and kissed Sasuke. Uchiha did not dismiss her, but he was not going to answer either. Hyuga abruptly pulled away and quickly ran out of the room. And what was that? Sasuke asked into the void and continued to pack his things. He was preparing for a fight with Sand. Itachi's younger brother decided to take revenge on Sand alone. I don't quite understand. Naruto commented on Lars' story with bewilderment. Naruto, you're still a kid, that's why you're so stupid. Mocked the blonde bee. I'm not a kid. I'm 18 and I already have a girlfriend. Uzumaki snapped. B. Naruto, calm down. Lars reassured Jinchuriki. Naruto listened to me again and carefully. The Akatsukis want to take over all 5 great nations with the help of the Ten-Tail. But Jubi won't just listen to them, so they need the Jubi stone. He gives the Ten-Tailed immortality, and the owner of the stone full control over Jubi. To get the stone, you need to drop all 7 swords of mist into the volcano of Shones, which appeared during the battle of Rikuta Sannin and Ten-Tailed. Jubi can be resurrected only by collecting all the tailed ones. Do you understand now? Simply put, does Akatsuki need all the Biju and mist swords? That's right. Naruto, and you are not such a simpleton. Bai praised his friend. Naruto, Lars, and B were heading to the camp of the stone, located near the village of Sand. This camp was located underground and was surrounded by a special barrier hiding the chakra of those who were under it. It is for this reason that the Sand Shinobi could not find this camp. In the camp, the Jinchuriki met Kuratsuchi and Akatsuchi. Kuratsuchi, ignoring Naruto and Bai, hugged Lars. I'm sorry, we don't want to bother you, but we'll give you time to be alone. Interrupted the idol of the beloved Bai. I'm Akatsuchi, and this is Kuratsuchi. We are the leaders of this squad. The shinobi of the stone introduced himself. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and this is Killer B. We are Gurchuriki. I know. Akatsuchi pointed to the tent. Come on. We need to discuss a plan of action. In Konoha, Sasuke was walking briskly towards the leaf gate. He stopped when he heard a familiar voice. Sasuke, where are you going? The pink-haired girl stopped the guy. Uchiha turned around and saw his teammate, Sakura. Stay out of it. Sasuke, did you really decide to take revenge? Exactly, I will kill those who attacked Konoha. I will avenge Hinata and Kato. Sasuke replied coldly, but Sasuke, you can't do it alone. Underestimating me? But in vain. Said Uchiha and disappeared into thin air. Sasuke was heading to Sunu with great speed. Mangekyo Sharingan was already burning in his eyes. Nagato, Jiraiya, I have gathered you here to help me in a matter. What should I do, Hokage-sama? The red-haired man asked. You have to. Tsunade's words were interrupted by a knock on the door. Hokage-sama, did you call? A beautiful blue-haired girl came into the room. Conan? Jiraiya and Nagato asked in unison. Nagato, Jiraiya-sensei? I'm so glad to see you. The girl screamed and hugged her old friends tightly. Conan, I thought you stayed with Yahiko. No. Yahiko, him. He's changed a lot. Freeing Sannin and his disciple from the embrace, Conan said. Changed? In what sense? The girl was in a stupor. She didn't know what to say. But fortunately for her, the topic of conversation was closed by Tsunade. Then talk. I have a mission for the three of you. You need to get information about Akatsuki. All we know at the moment is the name of some subgroups and the location of 2 shelters. Shizu will tell you about it. At that moment, a beautiful blue-eyed blonde came into the room. Jirai drooled, and Nagato smiled warmly at the girl. In Akatsuki's hideout. We are ready to make peace with the sand, leader. Zetsu reported. Well, how are things with Jinchuriki and swords? Jinchuriki is bad. Sasori died in battle with them. Deidara said. But with swords, everything is much better. We have all the swords. Kisame smiled greedily. Yes. Even the sword of Zabuza? The red-haired man was surprised. Yes. Itachi sneaked into Naruto's house and took the sword. No one noticed his presence in Konoha. Okay, and now? The red-haired man closed his eyes and, abruptly opening them, teleported behind Kisame's back. Kisame's pupils widened in surprise. The leader of the Akatsuki pierced through Kisame's body, in the area of the heart. I'm sorry, Kisame, but you're weak without a sword, so we don't need you. The red-haired man explained his actions. And as you know, you can't leave Akatsuki. The swordsman's dead body fell to the ground. Deidara, Orochimaru, head to the Shanza volcano. You know what to do. The bomber and Sannin nodded and, taking all the swords, flew away on the bird created by Deidara. Nagato, Shizu, Conan, and Jiraiya were standing at Konoha's gate. They were waiting for Kakashi, Guy, Asuma, Kurenai and their team. When everyone gathered, Shizu started telling everyone what to do. We need to protect all the Jinchuriki. Shizu finished her story. Jinchuriki? Tenten asked. And who is it? People who have tailed beasts sealed in them, such as the 9-tailed demon fox. The one who attacked Konoha 18 years ago? Lee asked. Exactly. Confirmed Lee's guesses. Kakashi. Gaara was one of them. But then he was killed, and his biju was sealed in a shinobi made of stone. After that, Kazekage went crazy and decided to attack us, believing that we were helping the stone. Asuma said. Gaara? Is this the one Naruto fought with? Sakura asked. Yes. By the way, Jiraiya-sama, since you are here, it means that Naruto has returned to the village. Kakashi asked a question of interest to everyone. Naruto? Sakura's voice had a note of joy in it. The girl blushed, remembering their kisses. Hey, what are you doing? Kiba asked his girlfriend, and I haven't seen Naruto. Conan said. He must have become strong. I've seen him for a long time, about 17 years ago, we were still children then. Nagato smiled. Naruto Uzumaki? Nine-tailed Jinchuriki? Shizun was surprised. Naruto is also a Jinchuriki? The eyes of half of those present widened in surprise. Yes. He is the keeper of the Kyubi. The nine-tailed demon fox that attacked the hidden leaf 18 years ago. Ino understood why the blonde had no friends as a child. Sasuke was heading toward Suna. He reached the boundary between the leaf and the sand. Uchiha noticed a white bird flying in his direction. And he said that it was already the end of this story.